IG.
In the hell.
We got a little surprise for IG today.
Yes. Good toys, good toys, good toys, good toys. Facebook, how are we? Let's see. No issues. Let's go. Let's pop. Let's go. Aquí estamos live. Estamos live.
All right, all right, all right.
Yeah, we here, we here, we here, we here.
Wait for a couple people to jump on and
I think we're here. I think we're here. I think we're here. I think we're here.
ah,
I think we're here.
like good old Coca-Cola.
I think we're here.
We're not sponsored by them, by the way.
But it sure is refreshing.
If you want us to sponsor it, just give us a call. We'll take care of that for you.
For real. Bring in that buku money, buku, buku. Oh my God, I'm tired. I'm so tired.
Before you tell us about how you welcome everybody on Facebook and IG. Thank you for joining us. Please like and share the show. Welcome to Aces Up. I'm Big Face. That's Coach Nell.
I'm in relaxed mode today.
Now you can tell us why you're tired. Sheesh. He almost forgot about y'all.
Oh, sorry. I was like, I just want to go here and just like take a nap, take a nap, take a nap, take a nap.
You must have had a long night, huh?
Not even a long night. Freaking long week. Long last couple of days just kicked my ass. Kicked my ass. Before we start anything, a couple of days ago, I'm a big Foo Fighters fan. If you do know me here in my circle, you know I'm a huge Foo Fighters fan, and recently their drummer Taylor Hawkins passed away.
Yeah.
I guess he was still fighting his demons, and it's unfortunate. He passed. I think they were in Bogota, Colombia,
Ooh,
and they were on tour.
out of all places, huh?
So they found him in his hotel room, and then you recently just did tell me that they did find
Multiple.
I guess, drugs in his system. And
Yeah.
Throughout his career, he has battled.
No specifics on it, but
Absolutely none. But he's been battling drugs for a while. He actually got kicked out years ago, and David Grohl is like, you need to clean up your act. He did, and I mean, it was our belief that he was good for many years. I guess he still had his demons in him, and he passed away, and you know that hurt me because I'm blessed to have amazing memories watching him in concert. I've seen him in different countries, different states. I'm a groupie of the Foo Fighters, and every single concert that I've been to, they have never, ever, ever disappointed, and it's gonna be very sad to not see him behind those drums. He's a badass drummer. Badass drummer.
this is a fact.
One of the best. Like, if you've never catch him on YouTube, catch him on their videos or on their lives, and you see a lot of their you'll see him one day. He does his solos. Is just he was amazing. Always in shorts and a tank top. He was straight out shorts and a tank top. So it was really cool.
I've never seen any performance like that. Their performance when you I think you came to Florida one time and we watched them
Oh yes, when they
and I was
live,
like,
yeah.
oh my God, I've never seen a performance like that. I mean, and I've seen a lot.
They don't disappoint. Like,
At
they're
all.
one of the few. I mean, I've seen quite a few acts live, and usually acts that you like on the radio and you listen to. They don't translate. I'm an Aces of Groupies.
Hi, Sasha.
Yes, Sasha.
How we sound over there?
So they're just amazing. They really give a concert. Like, when you pay money to see them, you're gonna see 3 hours plus at least.
And you're gonna hear their hits.
They play everything.
Well,
new.
what song isn't a hit from them? I mean, they're just freaking remarkable. And I was always a heavy hip hop fan, and you know, I got introduced to rock and all that stuff, alternative. And let me tell you something. You and TJ are probably the two biggest
Yeah, TJ introduced me to he introduced me to Foo Fighters. And
Yeah.
I saw Pretender and it was a wrap. It was
Mm-hmm.
rap right there. I was like, I'm hooked. I'm good. Let's go.
TJ, I think that's one of the first songs Nina learned. TJ taught it to her.
The Pretender. Pretender's a dope song.
Yeah.
Man. There's a lot of messages with it. You know, I just like the musical format about it. So rest in peace, Taylor Hawkins. I hope you're in
My
a better
condolences
place. You know,
to everybody, yeah. Rest in
and,
peace.
Hope
Amaze
everybody's
balls.
yeah. Hope
She knows how to bring light to a dark
you
situation, I
guys
tell
sound
you.
amaze balls. Okay, all right. I like someone to tell me I got amaze balls. It'd be
Oh,
great.
wow.
Ay, muchacho. Wait, let's see. Wait, we're going to.
There's nobody on IG to hear that, though.
Yeah, I know.
I want to make sure they can hear that.
Yeah.
So, not to keep it dark, but I've been getting a lot of phone calls and things like that from people, that their friends died. I actually had a friend of mine who, her friend is a pianist.
Okay.
Is that how you say it?
Yes.
Well, let me say he was, because he died in a car accident right on I-Drive.
Oh wow.
So there's been a lot of things going on, and then recently on I-Drive, a 14-year-old kid fell out of a ride, which was probably big national news.
Oh yes, yes,
14-year-old
yes,
kid.
yes. That was if you
So this week is heavy.
if you guys have not seen, it's made its viral rounds. But young kid with his football team, high school football
14 years
team,
old.
got on Icon Park. He was on one of the I guess a free fall ride. That's pretty much what you call it. It goes up all the way up, and then it just went all the way down. I think when it started slowing down.
Yes,
is where-
Sasha,
yeah.
please.
Once the ride slowed down is where he just fell out the harness, fell out his chair.
It's tough.
It was about 450 feet. He was still alive. But when he got to the hospital, they had to state he was dead. So condolences to the family, the football team.
Yeah.
I don't get on any of those rides.
Me either.
I've never been a fan.
Leave me out of that.
I got in free fall in Great Adventures one time.
I free fell a lot of times.
Well, naturally. Well, yeah, you did probably a lot of
That's
things.
why I
in
don't
the
get on.
military.
That's why I don't get on any rides now.
I got on the free fall ride in Great Adventures one time. That was all it.
I used to go on all them things, bro.
My balls were in my throat by
Yeah.
the time it was going somewhere.
Yeah.
So I was after that.
There she goes. Sasha, tell me if you hear this on IG.
Muchacho.
Tell me if you hear that, Sasha. Do you hear us clearly?
I'm on. On what? What are you on? What are you on?
Yep,
Oh,
she got it. All right, we
yeah.
good. Little surprise for the IG community.
Yeah, so it's crazy.
But,
As I got older, I just wasn't fond of those rides anymore.
listen,
I don't like spinning. Our bodies aren't made to spin. Like, why? I don't know what people get into the enjoyment of getting on a ride that just goes around and around.
I don't get it. But I tell you what, I don't even like to get on a bus.
Well, you don't like-
when it goes up and down, and when you got to
Oh,
pick
the
up
hydraulics?
that shit is enough for me.
No, no.
That's because when it goes it feels like when I was going down in a Humvee.
Oh.
So I can't. I don't get on. No, I don't get in any ride. Listen, that's why I got Nelson and Mia. When Nina wanted to go, hey, one of y'all got to go with her. Not me.
I'll go to the parks, but anything that has to do with spinning, and then let's go backwards. Oh fuck no.
This on Amaze Balls on IG too.
Oh, amaze balls. Okay. Go forward, go backwards. I remember going to Coney Island when I was a little kid, and I would get on those rides when I was younger. And then on the carousel with the swing set that just swings and really wide.
That's probably the only thing I'll get on.
Hell no, I wouldn't
Not the
get
one
on
in the
that.
air. I thought you was talking about what's the one that has the DJ. Remember in New York?
Yeah.
They had the one,
And
the
lights,
DJ,
yeah.
the lights, and it's just spinning. Like that was cool. Like that's as far as I'm going.
No. I used to get. They had the one in the Jersey Fair as well, the big swing, and you just like. I'm like, oh hell! See, that was the last ride I ever got because I got off of that. I had eaten a corn dog. I had eaten Zeppelins. That's closer to ARP than 20. No. It possibly is probably, Joe. I'm absolutely sure it's probably that. But I've been like that for, at least the last 15, 20 years. I just don't know. My equilibrium just does not take it well. And that ride, and this had to be at least 25 years ago. I got off, I upchucked everything that was in my stomach. And then ever since then, I said, no, I just don't like it. Even getting on the rides, like Superman ride and the Batman ride.
Oh, you're not getting me on that.
I just,
I'm not playing with that.
my body just not function anymore. Absolutely not.
But my condolences to the family and the coaches, like you said.
Yeah,
earlier.
man.
Like that's tough.
That's
It's been a tough week.
Tragic. Like they're going to celebrate, and the last thing you expect is not coming back home because you're just trying to enjoy yourself. So, listen, life is short. You have no idea what expects
I was
you.
just about to say
The next moment, the next minute, the next day. So love who you love. Make sure that you tell them. You appreciate them. You appreciate life. Do what you got to do when you can do it, and just and keep moving more, man. It's sad. But we gotta. These are little. I think this is how the universe speaks to us, and most of us are just blind to see that we need to take appreciation of this one life that we have. We have only one chance in this thing. What happens to us after we die? No one knows, because I personally haven't spoken to anybody that's died and come back and told me, yo, we got Skittles, we got rainbows, or it's a pool party and it's raining all the time, and we don't know.
We don't know.
So, we need to just enjoy it, appreciate it, and we're good. So,
Sasha, just give me a call. We're going to work on something for you. Because I like the photos that you come out on. I definitely would like to throw a Big Face Music World shirt on you.
Oh, she's suki suki.
We might have to do a special design for you.
What?
I'm not letting Nelson design it, though.
I got nothing to do with that. I'm hands off Sasha.
We're not going to let Nelson design that one.
I'm hands off Sasha completely. Sasha, can we share a story from yours?
Oh, my God. Part 2. I heard there's a part 2 to this.
No, I think not a part 2.
She said she's twerking.
No, it's not a part 2. It's a chapter 2.
No, chapter 2.
Yeah,
chapter
there's no
2.
part 2 to it. It's a chapter. It's a chapter. It's the second chapter of her novel that she's gonna write eventually. But no, she's gonna curse me out in no time. She's like, no, what story? The new love story. So I'm just gonna shut up.
Just so you know, I haven't heard it yet either, Sasha.
I haven't said anything, so
I haven't heard anything. But other than that, I
how
think
was your week?
Very productive. I got a lot of things done in the house.
Yes.
And then we capped it off with a good night last night. It was great. Can we talk about it before we get to your week, or should we wait for your week and then finish off with that? Because
now we can talk about it. Go ahead.
Nelson,
Alcohol is the devil, that's for sure.
the devil is a lie.
Alcohol is the devil. I did not drink. I was Uber yesterday.
Yeah. Nelson
I was Uber Eats.
honored us with his
all
driving
that.
skills.
So
Thank God, because when I felt that Henny go down one time, after the 3 cups of vodka,
really,
I said, here you go now.
I didn't even
can't
say
do
so.
it.
I said, give me the keys, because you guys were enjoying yourselves so much, and it's been a while that you guys have actually enjoyed yourselves together.
Or even went out, period.
Or went out, period. So I was like, you know what, I'm good.
Thank you.
And then there was,
That was dope.
obviously some shady characters, in the sense that you could see the alcohol affecting them to the point that they would just act out.
It was almost demon time yesterday. I almost forgot about that.
Yeah, I mean, you just gotta let them be, and just
Yeah.
and be nice and cordial, and they'll keep it moving. I mean,
Somebody handled them for me though.
they have no concept or idea what they're saying, what they're doing. So,
Weird.
even me at the end of the night with that whole situation, I was like, you know what? Everybody's having a great time. Why am I going to spoil it if I have to choke someone out? So,
Well, for those of you who don't know what we're talking about, we went out to a freestyle show. I'm not even
it
gonna
was a
call it a
freestyle concert.
No, it's not a concert. It's a show.
Oh, it was
That's
a freestyle show. I'm sorry, freestyle show.
That's not a concert.
That's right. It wasn't a concert. It was a show. We had at Level 13. Actually, very cool venue.
Yeah,
Very
yeah,
cool
yeah.
venue.
We looked at it first like, wait a minute, but when you get inside, it's
Yeah,
like,
because
whoa.
the thing is that here in Florida is a lot different in the sense that everything's like mini malls. So it feels like you're coming into a parking lot and you're walking into Walmart.
Yeah.
So, but that's how this state is built on, right? Joe needed an Uber yesterday, six old fashions, and my wife had
Woo!
4 margaritas. Oh
Woo!
damn!
I should have went with you, Joe.
Joe, I guess you were.
I love those old fashions.
I guess you were gonna play golf today. Joe likes to play golf.
Him too? I've been
Yeah.
hearing a lot about golf. Jesus.
Yeah, so.
But yeah, we went to level 13, and Mia's cousins visited us from New York.
Yeah.
Eddie and Sharon. God bless their souls.
They are freestyle groupies.
Yeah,
They're freestyle groupies. So
Talk about groupies.
they like it.
They love it.
You know, and they had what was it? So let me get some of them right. I know they had Suave. Suave in his
We're not gonna go there.
Suave had his Suave red suit on, and he always wears a suit. I mean, he makes a statement with it.
Oh yeah, he makes a
he
statement.
makes a statement with it, which is okay. What's good, Chris?
C-Rod, what's going on, baby? Shout out to In the Studio with the Rec Boys.
Hey Joe, it's too cold, man. If you move down here, move south, man, so you can play golf more often. You love it. You love it. And then we had Suave, we had Johnny O, who closed the show, which was
He closed it for real.
He really closed it because once he got on stage, everybody left. That's how great he closed. He was a closer.
He was a closer.
Absolutely, he was a closer.
Horrible.
And I forget her name from Sweet Sensation. She actually rocked out. God bless her. You know, she's got me in her 50s, but she has a great straight presence, and so she was good to go. And we had Coro. Coro hasn't changed. He's still small. He's still little.
Mm-hmm.
He still looks the same. He still has an amazing voice.
Yeah, he still got it.
Yeah, he's
He definitely got it.
not Rico Suave, the freestyle singer. If you look him up, you know. The funny thing is today, I was going through the Instagram feed and somebody had posted the flyer. And the pictures were from like 35 years ago of these
my
artists.
God.
So they looked all good. I mean, they really did not look the way they did. Boy in Beach soon? Joe, we got to hook up.
Not Rico Suave, Suave.
Definitely. Come down, sir.
It was definitely a night. And then a surprise for me.
No, well, he had a couple of wells. So they had some, with the freestyle, they had mixed in, so some of the acts. Color Me Bad.
Which was not Color Me Bad. It
Which
was
was
one person from Color Me Bad.
Yeah, I did not know Color Me Bad was 4 guys
Yeah.
at one point. Judy Torres was not there last night.
No.
She was not. So the Color Me Bad group came out. So it was the lead singer was there, who's chunky but funky still. He's chunky but funky now. But
I keep my comments to myself because I had some jokes for him.
But they had he had 2 other artists with him that were singing some of the songs, and I mean they did a good job.
They did it. The dancers were
The
good.
dances, so it was decent. I mean, what you're gonna expect?
This is true.
From not being on tour. I mean, and obviously they're not together, so they're not the original group. So
Well,
it was entertaining.
I felt like that until the next act came on, and I was like,
So the next act,
whoa.
and this is for all my Brooklyn, New York fellas and fans. Big Daddy Kane took up to the stage.
Whoa.
Yes, Sasha, we know we didn't invite you. We're so sorry.
We were invited, to be honest.
Yeah, we were invited. We didn't. First of all, the jet is under maintenance, so it wasn't available yesterday to pick you up. So that's another reason why we didn't invite you, Sasha. So apologies for that. Okay. And
I'm going to drink my tea and don't say anything.
So next time we got you. But Big Daddy Kane did his thing.
He did his thing.
Like his.
How old is he? I think he's like in his late 50s, right?
He's in his
Did not look at it.
He didn't look his age,
At
first of
all.
all. He looked crisp in his all-white outfit.
Zipped down to the belly.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he got his grown man belly, his dad belly, but
That's fine.
Girls
But
was
he
loving
said
it.
it because some of the females were trying to give him beer. He was like, "Nah, I can't do the beer. Can't do the beer because right here I'm a wine drinker. I'm a wine drinker." So he's on his grown man shit. He's
Yeah,
on
yeah.
his but lyrically, his tempo, his breath control, like he was spitting out stuff like if he was in the 80s, like so dope, so dope.
Flawless, bro. Flawless. He was amazing. And he
So,
showed love.
yeah.
Which, by the way, shout out to Eddie and Sharon. They got us the VIP front stage.
Literally front stage, yeah.
You know, a couple bottles, and
Mia's been.
that's why the green room is shut down today, because
Yeah.
we don't need no green room. I sent everybody home today.
So people are still recovering. Some people are
That
still
wasn't for
recovering.
you, Sasha. That was for him.
No, she's talking about me that the plane wasn't there. You know what I'm saying?
I was sipping my tea because he said the jet was being fixed.
Yeah.
I was minding my business on that. Listen.
Yeah, Joe, he's definitely the Godfather. He's one of the OG. Definitely
Joe, he
an OG.
did his thing yesterday.
Definitely OG.
Listen, and I'm gonna tell you something. I'm very young. To be honest with you, I might have been one of the youngest people in that damn building. I think I got eye raped about 20 times. But
besides the bottle girls and the servers, you know, yeah.
the girl behind me doing this, I was like, man, if you come any closer, you're gonna meet Mia.
Oh my God.
You don't want to meet Mia.
I had boobs behind were massaging the
I had
back
to
of
move.
my head.
I had to move. Nelson, you sit here.
Yeah, that was good. But he did his thing, man. Then he had
Wow.
a breakdancing
Amazing, dude.
dancer too. Mia's been putting up videos
Yeah.
on her page, so go to her page. You'll
I
see
got
it.
the live too, if you want to see
Yeah,
it.
it's good. It's good when you're up. See, this is why I like going to concerts, doing general audience, because I love being right in front. Like
That was dope.
there is nothing like experience music or artists right up front. Like the first time I did it, I never wanted to do anything else. I've had seats before, but the experience of going to a concert and being right there in front where the artist you literally, and especially in this
Yeah.
venue was small, you could literally touch them. Like, you know, we were giving dabs and handshakes and all that.
He said I was cougar bait for you. Well, I think Nelson would do all right by himself. He was doing all right last night.
I had to. I was like security yesterday. You know
Nelson
what I'm
was
saying?
chaperoning us.
Yeah, I was chaperoning everybody out there yesterday, so it was like I wasn't even focused on that. I felt it. I felt the heat from everywhere, but I was just paying attention to how everything was going.
It
But
was cool, man. I liked it.
It was
I liked
good
it.
though. Was that the first time ever that you go to some type of
Yes.
venue and be that close?
No.
Okay.
I went to all Jay-Z's I opened up the Barclay when I used to work there, and Jay-Z did 7 days straight of performances to open it up as a grand opening thing.
Yeah, but you were working the venue.
Yeah, but I was on the stage,
Yeah.
front, like I
Yeah,
seen.
I wish I could be on the first stage. I would love that.
By the fifth day, I was like, I'm tired of this shit. I love Jay-Z, but I was tired of that shit. Same thing, like.
Well, yeah, you're seeing the same concert
Yeah,
over and
yeah.
over. That's what I'm saying. As a fan, when you go and you get to see it that one night that you're there, like,
I didn't do my job not one time. I was like this
yeah.
the whole time.
I would love to be have I been? Yeah, I've been to backstage a couple of times. Did I get to see? I think in the city, I was able to get to see Cypress Hill, and I was backstage because I had a hookup.
Well, me, I had the hookup with Gran Combo.
Oh, that's
Gran
right,
Combo.
right,
We seen
right.
it on the stage, and then
Right.
we went backstage with them and chilled with them.
Yeah, yeah.
And walked them to the bus and all that stuff. So, I mean, I've done it a couple times, but yesterday was it took me back to my childhood. That was special for me. I was like,
So
wow.
tell me the artist that really brought you back.
I can't remember her name. Shannon.
Yes, that's it.
Shannon
That's it.
blew
That's
my
all it
mind.
is.
I think she's like 60 years old and had the energy of a 20-year-old.
More than 60 for sure.
Like, and she looks great.
Shannon is let the music play.
We won't get away. I was like, wow, I did not know that was her
Because
At all.
that's all I remember right now.
at all. And you know, I listened to freestyle growing up, but I never knew what the artist looked like. So that was a big plus for me yesterday, like putting Koro to those songs.
She's always had the big fro.
Yeah, yeah.
all
Oh,
the
I never
time.
knew that. I had to look it up today. I was like, wow,
She
she's had that the whole time.
always.
But let me ask you a question. Is she Puerto Rican or is she black?
I am gonna have to say she's black. I don't know if she's Puerto Rican. She's always given the Hispanic community love.
Yeah. That's why I was
Always.
like, because she came out with the flag in her hair at first.
So
So I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, I'm not
That's
sure.
pretty. Listen, the performances, for the most part, were shocking and great, except for.
That's right, Joe. 80s, baby.
Don't start, Joe. Don't start your shit, Joe.
80s, baby.
Don't egg this guy on, please. But yeah, it was definitely a reminder, man, of my childhood. That was the best part for me. So, but
And
that
then
last performance, bro,
Oh, yes.
I had to go.
Johnny O.
I couldn't do it.
Johnny O closed it.
He got the
was
O
like,
for real.
freaking. And the crazy thing is, Shannon came up on stage, performed. She had two dope dancers
Yeah.
that took off their shirts, and and then the ladies were like,
I thought they was from Magic Mike.
shit. I was ready to take off my shirt, but then I would have closed the show.
Yeah. I would have left. I would
I
have
would
left.
have closed the show. But the funny thing is, she had. I was waiting for her boob to pop out because
Yo.
she had a halter top. A halter top, basically. Then she had a black bra. Her thong was showing out because some dude came on stage. I guess part
The
of
owner. He's the owner.
No, was he? No, it was
Yes.
some other dude. It
No,
was-
he's the owner. He's the one who Sharon and Eddie
Oh,
knows.
yeah. So he just came out. Oh, shouting, look, she might be this age, but look, that's not a grandma underwear. She had a black thong that showed and all that. Like, she was moving. That's the thing. Her outfit wasn't conducive to dancing and moving and all that other stuff. So, yeah, TK, they were actually here a month ago. They Level 13 had a freestyle event last month.
And Eddie and Sharon was
Eddie
here
and
for that
Sharon
too.
was there, and they had also Michael Anthony, who's actually a friend of mine. I actually coached his daughter in softball in New York. He performed.
Yeah.
Cynthia performed. TKA performed.
Well, listen, don't say we didn't tell you, but July 16th, they're doing a big, I think it's an annual one that they do. It's a big one where all of them come at the Amway Center.
So that's.
Look it up.
Oh, okay. That's a concert.
That's a concert.
That's a concert. Gotcha.
So, and there's another one in April that's supposed to be big, but I think the biggest one is the one in Amway Center that they do every year, July 16th.
High body on
So-
IIG.
All right. So that was our week.
That was your week, bro.
Damn, that was a lot.
That was a lot. That was just one day for you.
Yeah, that was really one day.
That was one day for
Because
you.
the rest of the week, I just work and work in the house. I wasn't feeling too creative, though. Like, I think I may have written one song, like 75% of the song.
Well, I saw Young Viral here. Was it Friday when I passed
Yeah,
by?
he did a song. He came in and
Okay.
recorded, and he's still working on his album. So,
All right.
and to go back, did you hear the Coro is doing a reggaeton? He did a reggaeton song yesterday,
Oh, he did. Yes.
and I kind of want to say Sila helped him with that.
Okay.
I'm gonna confirm it for y'all, but I think because there's a picture floating around on Facebook with her at the studio with him, and she hinted that she was working with him on a new type of genre. So I'm thinking that's the song.
Okay. All right. Big things happening. Big
Yeah.
things happening.
Yeah.
Quietly.
You got to do it quietly. You can't
Quietly.
let everybody know your moves.
Absolutely.
So how was your week then?
My week?
We take half the show on mine.
My week was between the estate sales.
Sorry, Sasha. Yeah, you missed it.
You missed it, Sasha. Let me.
4082.
Let me.
How you doing?
Let me
Thank
play-
you for joining
Let
us.
me play the. Wait, what's the little violin? Let me play the little violin.
Wow.
So
Sasha, don't let him do that to you.
yeah. So I did the between the estate sales, and then I was gearing up to. We had a season kickoff, so I am coaching football, and this is flag football from ages from 5 to 14. It's called Ponciana Youth Flag Football League. So it's its first year. Coach T, who is the organizer, literally put this together in 2 months.
Damn.
2 months, blessed with over 150 kids.
Wow.
He was able to get grants, and he was able to get funding. He was able to confirm fields, equipment, like it's he's
That takes a lot of work. Like,
amazing job.
Yeah.
I knowing about being involved in so many programs. That's so disrespectful. Sorry, Sasha. Love you, but sorry.
where's my tea? It's empty, but I'm still gonna drink it.
But he's done such an amazing job putting this all together in such a short period of time. 150 kids, all these parents, getting everything together, and just I'm actually blessed that I was able this just happened to come my way. You know, obviously
Super
me
dope.
being recently down here, so I'm getting my foot wet in sports. We had our season Saturday, season kickoff, music, bouncy house.
They didn't do a parade.
No, we didn't do a
We used to
parade.
do that when I was playing baseball when I was little.
Yeah, they used to do that. They don't. I mean, they do it here, but I think probably second year and things of that nature.
Oh, because it's a new
It's a new
organization.
league. Yeah, it's a new organization. So we're actually I believe they're in talks with the NFL for sponsorship. So our plan is to get the
Oh, that's
best of the
big.
best,
That's big.
the best of the best in the kids, and then do travel and
Ooh.
go all around the state. That I'm amped. I'm amped about
y'all don't
that.
want Coach
I'm
Big Face
amped
on the
that.
field.
I'm mad. Can we tell about a football story about yours? We'll get there. We'll get there. But so,
We can tell it. It's
yeah,
up
yeah,
to
we
you.
tell it. So so I had freaking. So I'm exhausted. Like so Friday's day for me was I had. So I'm also with an organization. Blah, 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 organization called Tough Athletics. TUF Athletics. Sophia and Justin, who are the owners.
Nelson's not loyal to one gang.
I'm not loyal. So I coach there. I coach soccer, basketball there, and we're probably going to venture out to other sports. But for right now, we're focusing on They focus on basketball.
Can I ask you a question about
Yes,
the
sir.
soccer?
Yes.
Is it true that soccer moms are hot?
I don't know.
Or is that just a...
I'm not sure. No.
That's a myth. That's a myth.
I have no idea yet.
How you don't
'Cause we
looking out
haven't-
there?
We haven't had like.
This is why Nelson is single. How you...
Because
You're
I'm
out there with all the moms.
I'm focused on the kids. I'm not there for the moms, bro. So I'm there. So we had a damn. I can't. Yo, I got freaking short-term memory lapses and long-term memory lapses. So we had an event. Oh, so I was in a middle school. So we did basketball and soccer at a middle school up in Orlando.
He tells his stories too.
Yeah.
They're just not as funny as ours.
Yes. And then we did a free soccer clinic. In I forget where in Orlando.
Free?
Free. We did a free soccer clinic. So what we did was
How many kids you had there?
Well, we had 15 kids registered. So what had happened was
Here we go.
we had 15 kids, like 6 soccer fields, and we had one. So we started setting up, and there were kids. Obviously, soccer is big down here. I did not know, but because of the weather and because of the landscape, there's soccer fields everywhere.
Soccer, golf,
Soccer is like
softball.
basketball in New York.
Yeah, fact.
So, had an idea. Hey, let's start. Nelson is playing stupid right now. So we started asking everybody that was already in the park. You know, and soccer is really
What do you
predominant.
mean already in the park? Weren't they in the park because they
No,
were
no,
big-
no, no. They were so many. There's soccer fields, so everybody that was doing.
Oh,
had
there were
parents
other-
that-
okay,
yeah, and there's
okay.
there's stuff for kids and all that.
Some content.
I'm
Well, go
sorry.
ahead,
Yes,
go ahead,
yes, yes.
go ahead.
There's just that's it's a big, huge park for,
Gotcha.
for kids. They were flying kites. So I started speaking to a lot of the parents. Soccer's big in the Hispanic community. So I was, I can relate to them, speaking to them in Spanish. So we went from 15 kids registered to like 30.
Nice.
So, and what it is it's a free clinic that we do for 2 hours.
Wait, so let me get this right. So the 150 for football they had to pay, but the free one you only got 30?
No. The football thing. We have 150 registered kids. We capped it because we were still getting more, but there was a lot of grants. I don't know all the specifics, but there was a lot of grants where a lot of the parents that were able to register for the league and then register for the grant, it's paid for.
Oh,
free.
okay.
So it's also it's you know it's,
I was gonna say, because if
it's-
soccer was free and ain't nobody going to it, that's like,
so it's both organizations do things to help the communities. Tough Athletics does this. So this is a free clinic. So it's donation based. So you register and you give a donation. It's recommended like $10 or whatever you can give. But that money then is allocated to kids because we run different programs in the schools, and then we do camps. So we'll be having a summer camp. So if you're in the Orlando area, Florida area, Orlando area specifically, go to toughathletics.com. And you can see all the programs that we offer, and we'll be offering a summer camp. And with those donations, we take that money and give it to underprivileged children that normally can't afford these
sound like y'all
programs.
gonna be busy this summer.
And
Sheesh.
the football thing is also, we're also focusing on, after this season, doing travel. Plus, we're also maybe thinking about doing maybe actual tackle football team. So I'm amped about that. So we're working on that, and I love that.
Well,
That's my first passion, because I played football in high school.
Well, my skills in football,
Well, so segue to that story. Here we're going to go to this story. So, and it's funny how the universe. So recently, I have a friend. His name is Kachi. Shout out to Kachi.
Kachi!
Yeah, we have to. He's in the studio now. He's a salsero. He's actually working on an album now. But back in the days in New York, Kachi and I used to play football together. We played rough touch, and we were older, so we weren't playing with equipment. But we played football for many years. So we reconnected, and then, so that's segue to the story, because one season, Ben, I said, Ben, he's athletic. Ben is an athlete. You don't realize, actually, I learned a lot about him today, because he was actually a very prominent high school athlete in two sport. Baseball and basketball.
Yeah.
And he actually had opportunities to go up to the next levels. So when I was playing football, I played sports all my life. I mean, unfortunately, when I was a kid, I was short, and I didn't grow until after high school.
well, I was about to say, because you're not short now.
No, I was like 5'4" when I was, and that's just another podcast right there, low. So when I got older, I played sports. I played all the sports every time I could. I think I was making up for time.
I think that's what we all do.
Yeah. So one season, I tell Ben, hey, why don't you come play football? We playing up in.
You guys were short a receiver or something like that.
Yeah, but I saw talent, so I was like, yo, you play, because you and I were playing basketball when we were playing tournaments.
Remember that?
Yeah,
Woo.
we were playing 3-on-3. We were going to Nike tournaments and things of that nature, so we were playing tournaments. So I was like, okay, the transition between basketball and football, you're an athlete, it's not hard.
Yeah, it's not true.
It's not hard, and then you're tall. So I brought you in to a
And
couple
me,
of
like a
games.
pendejo, I'm like, what? Oh, yeah, I'm going to go play. Ain't nothing to it. That's what I thought.
Yeah, so it got to we were playing games, and then we had actually I'm sorry, man, I forget it. Fuentes. So we had him as a quarterback, and he actually tried out for the Jets a couple of times. He actually had talent.
Let's
that he
add a
could
little
play.
content to that, y'all, because that's what makes the story. First of all, this guy is 21 feet high. He's humongous.
Yeah, he
And he
is.
came from Europe somewhere, and he played with us.
No, he played overseas. That's what. Yeah.
Right, in Europe, I think it was,
he
right?
I think he played over. He played semi-pro ball.
I come to practice.
What
What up,
D?
Danny? I come to the practice, and Nelson goes, "Oh yeah, he was professional," and I was like, "What?" I'm gonna be freaking catching rockets right now. Is all I'm hearing. So I'm like already scared, because I never played football at this level. I tried out for high school and quit the first day.
Damn.
When they started doing this crap, putting you on your knees, and they pushing. No. Listen, first of all, I'm
It's
gonna
really-
fight somebody.
Football is intense.
Yeah, no.
Football is physically intense all
So
around.
I didn't, but I'm like, oh, these are old guys. Like, how hard is this gonna be? So I'm like, whatever.
But you gotta understand, almost everybody that played there, for the most, at least 80% of that league played high school, college, or semi-pro.
Yeah. Well, Nelson was like, listen, just come to the practice. These guys just want to see you run a couple routes, and then see, just make sure pretty much that you can catch. So I did that. Like, I did it, and the guy was like, hell yeah, like, all right.
Yeah, let's go.
The game is next week, be here.
Yeah.
I come to the game. I go and I get some gloves. Nelson tells me, yo, receivers wear gloves. You can wear gloves.
The
I'm
ones
like,
with the tacky.
with the one with the tacky on
Yeah,
it.
the
So I'm like,
tacky.
I've never heard of this, but I went to the sporting store and I got gloves. I'm like, let's go. Got cleats, right?
Yeah.
The rub. I'm like, let's go. I'm ready now. First play of the game, the quarterback tells me to run a route. And I looked at him like he was fucking talking Chinese
Not to me, to the quarterback, because I play defense.
to the quarterback. And I was like, what did you just say? Bro, I thought you were just going to tell me go 10 yards and go left, slant. This mofo said, cross route, da-da-da-da-da-da-da, you run a ladder, you run. And I said, what the hell are you talking about? I did not understand one thing that came out of his mouth. And he's like, yo, you never played football before? I'm like, no.
Everybody said break, and you were like, you still
Everybody
in the
said
huddle.
break. They went to their positions, and he was like, "Listen, just stand behind the line, look at the ref, and give him a head nod or something." And I'm like, "Why the hell do I have to do that?"
Yeah.
It's like so freaking technical, bro. I even got flagged one time, I think, because I didn't check in with the ref, or I think I was too close to the line. Or
You
something.
probably over the line of
I
scrimmage.
was like,
yeah.
"What the hell's going on here?" But then he tells me, like, I think it was like 3 plays later, he started recognizing it, and he was like, giving out the plays, everybody would leave, and
He
he'll
broke
just
it
give
down to you like a
yeah,
5-year-old.
He'll tell me what to do separately, like go all the way to the end. Like he told me to stand in the slot one time, and I was like, bro.
Because this is how I teach the kids, like especially the younger kids. I'll go, I mean, listen, okay, I'm facing here. All right, you're here, lined up here. Do this, do this. So that's what they were doing to you. Do this, go do that, and do that. I know he told you to do he told you to do an in and out fly route. And in and
No,
out fly
the
route was
first one was the button hook to the outside, and I was like, what the fuck was a button hook? So
the in and out and fly was great because basically what he described it to you, just run a chair. See how
and I
it's
was like,
everything-
what the hell is a chair? Then he draws it on my chest, like where nobody can see it. He's like, go 10 yards here, then go in here, then go out that way. I'm like, oh, okay, let's go. Now you talking my game.
But tell her what happened with that play though.
So I did it. But of course, first of all, before that play, he told me to run that button hook. But I couldn't run the button hook because the corner was in my face.
Oh, he played you pressed.
And I never seen that before. And as soon as he said hi, the freaking corner pushed me. And I was like, bro, I'ma fuck you up. What are you doing? So the guy on the sideline, I forgot, I think it was this guy,
Got you?
Kachi.
Could be Eddie.
He's like, yo, you got to do a swim move or something. I'm like, what the fuck is a swim move, nigga? There's no water here. It's freezing in the Bronx.
8 o'clock in the morning game.
What
bro.
the hell are you talking about?
8 o'clock
So
in
he
the
shows
morning.
me real quick, and I'm like, I got you. So then he gives me the chair play. Do the chair play. I'm like, all right. So I did a little boogie, and he tried to do the same thing. So I hit him with the swim move. Boom, I'm out. I guess the guy thought I was going to catch the ball right there. Bro, once I did that third move,
That's the whole.
I was like this. Jesus, I got the ball. I caught that motherfucker and I kept going.
Scored a touchdown.
I think it was like 80 yards or something
Scored
like
a
that.
touchdown.
Bro, when I got to the touchdown, I wanted to pass out.
100 yards is a lot, isn't it?
Somebody gonna tell me that you need to have some kind of
Stamina?
cardio or stamina? I freaking passed out.
Oh shit.
I was like, nah, I can't do this. I didn't even come back the next week. I can't do this.
Oh my God, that was, dude. You're gonna be really good, yeah. But you need stamina. You need.
I stopped playing college. I stopped, I got married. I stopped playing sports, and I just became I had a dad bod after that.
That bod, real quick.
Dad bod. I think it was really the beer, though. I'm not gonna blame me.
Yeah, of course it is the beer.
So,
Absolutely.
but that's the story of how my athletic career ended.
In football, at least in football.
Yeah, well, I think in everything, because that was the last sport that I played.
Yeah,
Because I played AAA, and that football happened after AAA.
but at least, but the thing is that you excelled in baseball, you excelled in basketball, but football, you was like, oh hell no.
But I could have did it.
Oh, of course.
You know,
That's why I bought you. I was like, yo, you can play.
I was just a stupid young kid wanted to go back to the streets, and I'm like, man, this is a long drive to the Bronx. First of all, I'm a Brooklyn boy. That was a long drive.
That's right. That's right.
I didn't like. First of all, my unit was in the Bronx. My military unit. I didn't even
you
go
were-
to my damn. I didn't even go to my
Yeah,
drills.
you were by me. You were at Kingsbridge.
Kingsbridge.
That's
I
right.
didn't even want to go to that shit. They barely saw me.
Joe says, "Do you have a vape in your pocket?" He sure does. Not in his pocket.
It's right here. It's right here, Papa. It's right here. You thought the smoke was because I'm hot? I can only go so far, Joe. I can only go so
Oh,
far with
man.
this.
But yeah, that was great. That was great. I was impressed, and then I was disappointed when you was like, "Yo, I can't breathe. I can't breathe."
I could not breathe.
My
And these
chest
guys
is
were
about
like,
to explode.
these guys were going crazy. The
Yeah.
whole park was going crazy. And they like trying to throw me around. And I'm like, bro, let me breathe. I'm dying here.
Yeah, no one knew that you had not played.
Yeah. But they saw it that day, I think. But I finished the game. I think I had a couple more catches, but they after that I was double teamed. They wouldn't let, and I'm like, bro, y'all don't know, y'all got the wrong one. Cause this dude was giving me weak plays after that. He's like, yo, just sit here, button hook.
Yeah.
Cause he knew they would double team me.
Fuentes had an arm. He was lefty too.
Oh, that throw was on point.
He was Sonny's cousin. Rest in peace, Sonny. But that was Sonny's cousin.
Cause I think he waited for like at least 50 yards.
Yeah, he can fling it.
And
bro.
he threw that. And mind you, here's the funny thing. I am blind.
Yes, you are.
So
Absolutely.
I couldn't see when he threw the ball. I just ran the route and I just looked up and the ball, I couldn't see it. And then I just kept going and I looked up again and the ball was right there. And I was like, oh, I got it.
Those gloves didn't work, right?
But my hands too. Let's give some credit to the talent, baby. Yeah.
Ah, I love it. I love it.
Hey, Connie.
I so miss playing.
First of all, don't try to ignore what Sasha just said.
What did Sasha say? I'm
The
sorry.
black hole now in basketball? They used to call you the black hole?
Not Sasha. That wasn't Sasha. It was Joe.
See, I need glasses. See, black hole in the hoops.
Okay, so
What is that?
So Joe and I, we used to work together. So we played basketball. So we had this whole thing of playing basketball together. So when
Oh, they had paramedics there, Sasha, trust me. I thought they was about to tell everybody clear.
so when I used to get the ball down low, it never went back out.
That's the black hole, huh?
That's the black hole. That's
Wow.
the black hole.
That
Never,
makes
never.
sense. That makes sense.
Never did.
Wow.
Because it was just, I mean, dude, we were all hot messes.
And I could never picture that because when we played,
Oh, no, 'cause
you
it
was
was-
hitting me off. I was catching
yeah.
dunks, alley oops. I'm like, oh, all right,
Yeah.
Nelson know how to play. I was in shock.
Yeah, so it was because we were all hot messes. So I was like, I'm getting it down low. I know I can post up some of these dudes and all that. But we were just, that was dad bods to the 10th power when we all played together. It was just horrible. But
I love that name.
We had
Black hole
Black
in the
Dell,
hoop.
Black
Wow,
Dell. Yeah.
that's
So
good.
we had good times. Yeah. But when I played with you, it was different, completely different. Cause that's a different talent level and all that.
He passed it when we were playing.
No, never passed the ball. Yeah, I never. Not in those games, Joe. I never passed. it.
Nell became the last resort.
I was like, give me down low, I get it. Like I grabbed the rebound, that was not getting
Oh,
get
my
thrown
God.
out. Because nobody was gonna hit threes, bro. Everybody hit bricks. Why am I gonna pass it? Why am I gonna
Yeah.
pass it?
And only but so many people could go down there. Nelson went straight down there.
I love the contact down. That's what, because I miss football, man.
No light contact with me.
Yeah, I love that.
With
shit.
men.
So
He's gonna keep saying yeah too. He just totally missed that part.
I love me some contact. So yeah, I love it. So yeah, football is my first passion. I played it in high school.
How
I
you
played
pronounce that name? Adi.
Adi
Amber?
Amber. Yeah. Hi Adi, how you doing? Welcome.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, I mean,
Connie.
I played a little. Hi Connie. I hope you're doing your work.
So we're 45, 48 minutes in, man. Let's get into it, bro. Let's get into it. Unless you got something else. What
No,
you got?
no,
What
not
you
at
got?
all. That's a good segue. I mean, we're talking about sports. So the topic that we went through this week in regards to discussing topics, and this one kind of hit me because
The only resort.
the only resort.
They give you the ball when you're the only resort.
The only resort, baby. It was recently DeSantis actually put out some statement in regards to
DeSantis is our governor.
our governor in Florida.
Florida, guys.
So in regards to a female athlete, not, and that they were gonna he was gonna recognize her for her accomplishments, because I think there was some controversy in regards to whatever she was competing. I don't have the details, but something that she wasn't competing, something in the sport that she was competing in, and there was, I think, a transgender or something of that nature, and that the transgender won. So he was like, he's actually against transgenders competing in crossing the sports realm. So that's what kind of brought this to attention, because it's more and more becoming more prominent in news. Now that sports are now coming back, things are getting back to normal. So like baseball, we got now full-fledged, and things are, all these sports, all the major sports are now going full tilt. And again, that's just going to create these controversies. We just had the Olympics, and that also was an issue with that.
There was a lot of issues in the Olympics
Yeah,
this
but
year.
there was racial issues in the Olympics besides the whole thing. So that we're talking about that. The question that is put on is, can girls play in boy sports and boys play in girl sports? And let me give this context. We're not saying that girls shouldn't play boy sports.
Not at all. We're
And,
not saying
and
that.
boys shouldn't play girl sports. It's where you start playing at a very competitive level, and where
Hi, Cookie.
they now start, it's an advantage. So like, for example, I've coached softball for many years. Most girls will play baseball to about the age of 10.
Yep.
So at the age of 10 is where girls have to transition into softball if they haven't already have. And the reason why is at 10, boys now start developing their muscles, they start growing, they get those growth spurts, and physically, girls at 10 cannot compete with boys at the same age.
Say that again.
Girls at the age around 10 cannot compete physically
Physically.
with boys. Now, that there are unicorns out there, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes.
I've coached some girls that can play and keep up with the boys. But again, only to a certain level. I've had a girl that continued playing baseball until high school. And then when high school hit, she wasn't able to play.
Yeah.
Not that they weren't allowed. This is not about being allowed to play. It's that physically. And again, it is a liability issue, and it's also an injury issue.
That's right.
Because now you got boys now in high school throwing 90 plus miles an hour fastballs. And it becomes very difficult for a girl, a female, a woman to compete at that level, because physically we're different. It's
Right.
Sex is in your DNA. We're built differently. And to give you some more context, females' body strength is not upper, it's lower. Male strength is upper, but we develop also the bottom half of ours, so we have a complete muscle mass. We're just bigger muscle mass, lung capacity, everything is just how our DNA is just bigger.
Right.
What did Matthew, you think I can pull up to cook up?
He wants to go in the studio, but we had this conversation.
Oh,
he
yeah,
can't,
bro,
he can't
you
go in the studio while we're in here doing this.
So,
But before you get to the next level, right? When I say the next level, I mean the next level of
competitive sport.
competitiveness.
It's competitive.
I want to add something to this. Nina played.
Nina's his daughter.
Nina's my daughter. She played basketball with the boys until 8th grade. 8th grade.
Competitively.
Competitively.
We're not talking about playing in the schoolyard.
Yes, competitively. And that was her choice. She wanted to do it, and we supported her. But we supported her with the understanding, between her and I and the coach that they have to use her smartly because those boys were very big.
Yes.
So it was agreed. Now we knew that she can get hurt. We knew it. When she used to come back home with pain and it's because it was her choice to go down low and play the big boy.
That's a physical toll that she was taking on.
So and I had to constantly tell her that. Now, the coach in game time would utilize her for 3-pointers because that's what she was great at. So he developed plays for her to sit outside, wait for a pass, things like that. She would get fouled every now and again, and she knows that it hurts, but she used to toughen it out. But she also knew that was going to change when she got into
high school.
That's not good, because she will really get hurt. So you got to have a conscious mind with this too. And as parents, you got to have an understanding and have that conversation with your child, whether it's a boy or girl, doesn't matter, about the physical contact and when you can use it and when you can't and how to use it. Some people just don't even talk to their kids about it. Especially now with this topic that we're getting into, it has to happen because people are going to get hurt mentally and physically.
I mean, they're bringing up the point, that community, and that's how they labeled it. They suffer more from bullying and they're stereotyped and they're
this is a good point.
So because of those factors, I think a lot of people are having sympathy. And again, no one should be bullied regardless. Of who you are. It doesn't even really matter. So, but them then choosing to kind of enable them in the sense, you got a target on your back.
Yep.
So because you have a target on your back, let's try to make things a little bit easier for you in certain aspects. I just don't feel that. As a coach, and I've been coaching for about 20 years, and I've coached different sports, boys and girls, and I see the difference. I know, I've seen it with my own eyes. I've trained both sexes, and I know for a fact what I can do with boys in certain things, I can't do with girls.
Yeah.
It's a different process. There are different stages. There are different things that I have to do when I'm doing baseball and softball. I have different expectations and I have different skill exercises for the boys than for the girls because I know the girls are going to have a much more difficult time doing any of the exercises that the boys do. Like again, they will be unicorns. They will be females that excel to a certain point, and then you're still going to have certain females that will excel even at higher levels. For example, I think, in my opinion, Serena, for example, Serena could probably hold her own with, let's say, any of the tennis players. Damn, I can't even remember any of the tennis players right now. But I'm pretty sure she can hold her own and probably win some matches.
Oh, yeah, I think so.
But if you notice, for example, in tennis, men have to win, if I'm correct, 4 out of 7.
Yeah,
right?
Something like that, yeah.
And females, it's 3 out of 5. Stamina-wise, that's their basic. And there's just so many. Let's take the sport of football, for example. Football.
We have a professional women's league here for football. You know that.
That's not
Not
really
the lingerie league.
Yes, they do have it, but then that's also that league is also modified.
In what way?
In the rules. It's
well, the field is smaller. I know
right.
that.
So exactly. So it's modified. You can't take any. Excuse me. You can't take any of these females. I don't care in what league you're in, and put them in the NFL.
No, not with a 350-pound lineman.
Absolutely not. There have been girls that have played football, high school and I think college, but the position they have played, and the only one that I know of, has been kicker.
Yeah.
That's it. It's basically the only position in football that is predominantly non-contact. They are the last resort, as Joe said I am, the last resort.
If you remember, that one girl that you're talking about did have to make a tackle because she punted and he outran the whole freaking team, so she had to make a tackle. And I believe in her interview, she was hurt. She got back up, but that doesn't mean she's gonna do it 50 to 100 more times in that same game.
Exactly, yeah, because it's a repetitive. Look, Joe just said, my boy played, he had a friend who played competitive tennis. He was ranked 175 in juniors. He played the top ranked woman in college that smoked her. He was 15
years
at the
old.
time. So it just says a lot about there are differences. There are major physical differences between men and women that we have no control over. That's just the way it was built.
It's just that. You have to accept that reality. Some people don't want to accept that reality, and they force the issue.
Listen, it's a reason why they created women's sports.
Right.
Not because, it was obviously it was sexism. They wanted to put it under the label of sexism.
Of course.
Or why women can't play sports.
You
Women
know
can
why.
play. Go ahead.
You
can
know
play.
why. Stop it. You know why.
Go ahead. But they created women's sports because of the physical.
Correct, Connie, correct. It's more physical.
Yeah, it's a physical issue.
That's
it has nothing
it.
to do with mental. Listen,
We're not saying they're not talented. They're extremely talented. I watch the WNBA all the time. There's some talent out there. As a matter of fact,
there's no WNBA team. You could get the best WNBA players and then put them against not even the all-stars of the NBA. Put them against the Golden State Warriors. What's going to happen? The three-point line, first of all, is not the same distance.
no, it isn't. It isn't.
Everything is modified. Even in women's sports, the basketball, the length of the court is the same.
The ball alone is smaller.
The ball is smaller. It's so they modify it because they only modify it for one reason, because of the physical difference.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you a perfect example when it comes to football, and I'm just gonna talk about men. College players are a lot of college players are studs in college.
Joseph said that the 203rd ranked man swept
both Williams sisters in a match. Yeah, it's just to say it's just we're built differently.
That's crazy.
So college football. You're a stud in college. There's so many awesome all Americans, and they did surveys and they have done studies for years now. The one thing that most first round draft picks or draft picks coming into the NFL, what's the biggest difference between the college level football and the NFL? Speed. The speed of the game. Mind you, it's the same game. They play with the same length, same football. Everything is the same, college to pro. And you're talking about all these all-American kids that you see them on Saturday, and they are savages. They get to the NFL, and they say it. The speed of the game in the pro, it takes a lot of players years to adjust to the speed, because at that point, once you get to the NFL, it's a different ballgame.
Way different ball.
Different, like
And just the speed alone changes a lot of aspects of the game.
Yes.
In so many levels. So, and then imagine, like, I know what you're talking about, because I've seen the interviews, like at the Columbine and things like that, and they're like, their eyes are like so wide, and that's like the first thing that comes out of their mouth is like, the speed of the NFL is ridiculous. And we're talking about
but you see
first round draft
You
picks.
see these kids in these combines running 4.3s, 4.4s. They just had a guy who's a lineman, I think, 340 pounds, ran a 4.5. Back in the day, that was wide receiver running back speed. And this guy's like 6'6", 340, running crazy.
I think when these recruiters look at them, they say, all right, this guy can be developed to catch up to this
Yes,
speed
absolutely.
in a short time because he's very close to it.
So in
but
the-
you're not ready for it. Let's get it straight.
In the NFL, when you go to the draft and you get drafted by an NFL team,
Good point,
you go
Joseph.
You go into a program. You go into a strength and conditioning program. That's the first
That's
thing
the
they
first
put
thing
you
you do, yeah.
They put you in there.
And basketball, too.
Yes, they all major sports. They put you in a strength and conditioning program because that speed and that strength that all these collegiate players come in and say, "Wow," because that's what they need to develop. That's
If I go
where-
in right now, they're going to put me in a weight program. Boy, you better lose some pounds.
So that's where that speed and that strength starts developing because it's another level,
Yeah.
completely another level, and it's because physically we got another. As a man, we got another gear. We have more than another gear.
So if, let's say, damn, what's this girl's name?
Cool.
From the WNBA, who's in Russia, who she's supposed to be like one of the best basketball players in the WNBA. I don't understand why this isn't like big news. She still ain't home yet.
Oh yes.
I just read it and I can't remember her name. But let's say we put her in the NBA lineup, first year, right now, and her peak in the WNBA. Do you think she would still have to go through that program?
Well, she would have to get to that program because it would be a detriment to her and to the team because they're not preparing her. She's not prepared. She's not prepared physically to deal with the day in and night out of the physical contact of basketball.
Yeah. No, I agree.
And you know, a lot of women are they're backing the transgender and I understand it. I completely understand it. But if you have not played a sport,
I think you need to sit
if
back
you
a
have
little
not played a sport, you cannot
bit. Or even
actually
understand what you said this whole time about it. If you don't even understand what Nelson just said, it's going to be really different. And I'm sorry for cutting you off. It's going to be really difficult for you to even speak.
Yes, absolutely.
this.
Absolutely. You have to actually know, like you can't support transgenders. They should be able to play basketball, football.
Yeah.
They should play all the sports. And you never even played. You never picked up a ball.
At minimum, you should at least understand.
Understand the game.
No, not even just the game, but understand what you said. You got to understand the physicality of each sex.
Yes.
That's number one. Number two, there are limits. Because there are limits.
Yes.
Let's keep it clear. Like, there are limits. Men do have certain gears. Certain men have extra gears.
Yeah. And
Certain women are the same, but not the same gears as the men. There's different things that you talk about. For example, women are bottom strong,
They're
but not bottom strong enough to catch up to the speed of the NFL.
No. Again, you'll have unicorns like track and field. Track and field is different, but if you put track and field, you take a man and a woman running a 100-yard dash. You take Bolt against the best. Bolt is going to win.
He's gonna smoke him.
I'm going to give you another example, and this is where physical looks and mass is the actual part of the sport. Bodybuilding. You don't see women bodybuilders competing in the male division.
Professional level at that. Yeah.
You don't see it because if you take anybody, you could take.
I've seen some beasts though.
Yeah.
Women?
Yeah, but put them next to any man that's in bodybuilding.
I don't know.
In their weight class.
I don't know if that's gonna be
And
a good thing.
you can see with your eyes the difference in where the body mass gets developed.
Okay. Now let's put a twist on it, because you already started it. Let's say a man bodybuilder decides that he wants to become a transgender. Let's get it.
He can never do it because he has to lower his testosterone. He can never compete.
And everything that he takes boosts his testosterone up to I don't know what level.
No, you're
Right?
saying you talking about female to male?
No, male to female.
Okay, so they have to take estrogen and testosterone.
Right, but his testosterone
They gotta get
level
it, yeah.
from all the stuff that they've been taking
yeah.
has been excelled probably by 100.
How long will it take for the drugs to inhibit the testosterone levels.
So, because I don't want to get too deep into it, because I know Nelson got some notes for this. But if we know the amount of time that's required for a transgender to compete in a women's sport to help even out those testosterones and estrogens,
Yeah,
that still wouldn't help in
No, not in bodybuilding.
Hell
Not in
no.
Like so what you were stating. So for example, the NCAA, and I looked this up, the NCAA, which is the governing body for all collegiate sports, prohibits any trans female from competing in their first year of testosterone suppression. 1 whole year of eligibility they lose when they are transitioning to that, because they say in studies that they have so far that it takes about a year for levels to even out. But then that also begs to differ the question. Okay, so because the Olympics measure metrics. They have metrics, because they've actually.
which sucks, by the way. We're going to get into that,
Yes,
but go ahead.
because they've actually stopped women from competing
Yes.
because they naturally have high testosterone
Naturally.
levels.
There's a black, what is she, a track runner?
Track runner.
She is amazing. But if you look at the report on her, the news report, they literally said she has
And it
male
was-
body features.
But it was
What the hell does that mean?
But her metrics, she was over by just like 0.1 or whatever.
But
wasn't
it's
like,
natural.
It wasn't like she was completely over or anything of that nature. So,
But it
that's
was
also-
natural
Olympics
too.
are politics.
That's bullcrap.
Olympics are politics.
But
plain
then-
and simple, because the OIC is the governing body there, and they have different metrics, and they pick and choose
That's crazy.
situations on how to, because they also had a Russian, I think, gymnast that they allowed, and for some reason or another, and so you got racism, you have politics, and it's a really clusterfuck of shit.
Yeah, it's listen, I understand that, but if that's the case, I think people need to start boycotting the Olympics. Because at some point, somebody has to use their goddamn brain and say, listen, this is a freaking woman at the end of the day. It's not her fault that it's just like, what's the, Biles, her name, Simone Biles.
Yes.
They told her she couldn't do a certain,
But you understand that gymnastics is the only sport that they don't have a problem with transgender competing in it, because I don't know what the fact is in regards to it, but gymnastics, like, they start at such a young age. Gymnastics is a lot of muscle memory. So you naturally build your muscles with that. But most female gymnasts are very tiny.
yeah.
So so for some reason, because of the physicality in their height, it doesn't make much of a difference.
Right.
Because it also has to do with balance and things of that women are naturally have better balance than men.
Oh yeah, that's a fact.
Again, that's an advantage in that part. Also, that there are 30 states introducing legislation right now to ban transgender girls, women from high school, college, and women competitive sports, because you're gonna have supporters from both sides. But what do you say to a parent who has their daughter been practicing from the age of 4? I see some of these girls that, like, for softball, some of these girls at age 10, I said, yo, they've been playing since they came out the womb, like practicing every single day, so forth and so on. And all of a sudden, you got here a boy who's transitioning into a female, and then at that age, all of a sudden, they start developing. I don't care how many inhibitors you put in. You can't stop your body from changing. You can only limit. But this kid is gonna grow. This boy is gonna grow to a point where it's crazy.
And now let's get something clear before we go further. We have no issue with any person that's transitioning to whatever sex it is.
No.
We're talking about sports
It's just
specifically.
yeah, because that's where it is. I mean, it's
Right.
and then again, it's the physical aspect about it. There's
Right.
2 states that already have it in law to prohibit
Cool.
transgender. In I don't know which 2 states are, but I know the state that actually supports transgender is California. They've
Right.
already had it for 8 years.
Right.
But that's still a very, very volatile issue still, because again, it all depends on who it affects. There's so many class action lawsuits right now that parents have gotten together where their daughters are competing, and then all of a sudden a transgender competes in that specific sport, and they freaking wipe the floor with all the competition.
Can you
And they
imagine?
haven't put in the work
Can you imagine a kid working so hard to do something
years.
For
For
years.
years.
And then, do you understand the mental state that can put these kids in?
No one's talking about how does that kid that's put in 5-6 years puts in, they're at the top of their game.
They may
and
not
then-
want to play anymore.
And then
You just ruined their career.
and then this transgender comes in 1 year, 1 year beats all the competition.
Nah, that's crazy.
Didn't put in the work.
That's
Did not
crazy.
put in the work. The blood, sweat, and tears of years of practicing to
That's
get to
crazy.
that level. You know, and it's also unfair to them because they don't have an advantage. Their advantage was they put in the work. But that also says to the whole point. If in 1 year a boy can go to a girl's sport and dominate the sport, there's a problem with that. Because what happened to all the hard work? Basketball play. Michael Jordan didn't become Michael Jordan because he was just Michael. He was born and he was Michael Jordan and that was it. He was cut from his high school team. He didn't even start in college when he came in. You know, and Michael Jordan wasn't Michael Jordan when he came to the Bulls the first 3 or 4 years.
Sure wasn't.
Kobe Bryant either. But
Sure wasn't.
Kobe freaking was practicing at 4:30 in the morning. You know, he became better because he worked at it for years. For years. It just doesn't happen overnight.
Now imagine your daughter doing that, and then you have this guy come in.
In 1 year.
In 1 year.
And boom.
Or
and-
this girl, excuse me.
Yes.
You have this girl
or this
comes in.
transgender
who-
comes in and
who's-
just
yeah.
becomes top and starts winning medals, and it's just unfair. It's unfair, and it's unfair to the sport. I think genuinely the sport itself, and that's why we phrased it. Girls should play girl sports in the sense that the point where you naturally and physically cannot play the sport anymore.
I want to find this thing. While
Then
you're
you
talking
should
about it.
then just play the sports that you can play. You know, you could get hurt. Football, if a female decides to play running back, she's gonna get wiped out. Get hurt, like really, that's an endangering someone's physical life. You're trying to find the Chappelle.
Yeah, I want to see if we can hear it. See if we can play it for you guys.
Let's go with that. Let's
see.
go. Let's try. California.
Okay, say LeBron James changed his gender. You know what I mean? Okay. Can he stay in the NBA, or because he's a woman, does he have to go to the WNBA where he will score 840 points a game? What does it actually mean to be equal? You know what I mean?
Absolutely. So yeah, like that's
It
the
was
point.
funny, but it's serious.
It's the point.
serious.
It's a
the
point in a nutshell. Because the thing is, how society is trying to make this is, you know, when you sign that box, if you're a male or female, right?
Hey, I forgot about that.
Sex is in your DNA. You are either male or you are the female. So you check that box, and when you check that box, you're categorized.
Yeah, that's the category
You know what I'm
that you're
saying?
going to fall
But
into. yeah.
now, because of society and how the topic has come up and how it's been so controversial, it becomes now the box is no longer male or female. It's how you identify as. So it's crazy how we have now changed that box from male and female to how to identify. So for example, if that's the case, I can say you know what? I no longer identify as a male. I identify as a female. I'm going to check the female box. Because then at the end of the day, no one's going to tell me how I identify, because identifying is a matter of self-reflection.
Right.
It is how I feel. It's opinion, right?
Right.
I feel that I am a woman. So because I feel that I am a woman and I feel like I'm a woman and I check that box, I should be able to compete in female sports.
No, but that's also your feelings. Based on the rules of these sports, it tells you, if you're a man, you're going to play man sports. That's it. It's not about your feelings. You can feel whatever you want.
But again,
So why does it change when you want to transition?
so yeah, exactly. So in that instance, I can say I identify as female, or whatever box I wanna, and I want to compete, and I want to go in the WNBA.
Now, do you think they should start a transgender league?
Well, just
How
like
do you think that would happen?
Well, this is how it happened. Just like they created a women's league for all these sports, because eventually there's so many women that were interested in playing sports that, okay, it's actually feasible to
Right.
create.
Right.
So, like, what is it? What was the Tom Hanks movie with the female baseball the league? So they created
A league of their own.
Yes, a league of their own, and exactly what it is. So they created a league of their own. So I think if we continue, and there is
Well, it has to be more transgender.
yes,
than-
exactly. So that's why. So again, it has to be more transgender. There has to be a demand.
Right.
A numbers game. It's a numbers game.
But now, what do we do with the ones that want to play professional? They have to stay in their gender where they were born, because we don't have a demand for it. We don't have
No,
enough.
we don't. But again,
So what do you do with the ones that do want to play professionally?
we're trying to facilitate people to play in sports and how they
Because it's
identify.
politically going to help them
right.
out?
So it's
That's not right. That's not right. Because I'll tell you one thing. If Nina makes it to college basketball, and I see somebody who's transgender come into play, we're going to have problems. We're going to have problems. Because I'm going to put on a wig. I'm going to put on a wig.
imagine
And
this.
I'm going to go play.
Imagine this.
And I'ma beat his ass.
She works hard. She gets a
Nah.
starting spot.
You're not going to
Transgender
hurt.
comes in.
Nah, you're not going to hurt my daughter's
and
whole
then,
mentality because
and then
you want.
comes and takes her spot.
Nah. Get out.
Without
of
putting in the work.
That would hurt. That would hurt. You know, we talk so much about the physicality of it that sometimes we seem to forget that people get into this because they have a mentality of, I'm going to be great, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And then you have this person to come and take that away who doesn't even, not
Doesn't
even
put in the
supposed to
work.
be
Doesn't-
there.
But no, not only that, just not putting in the work.
All of that comes into a ball, and it will destroy your mentality of a person. And then that person now has to go see a psychiatrist.
But
And
they're
no longer want to play that
But
sport.
they're concerned about just that community.
That-
and
that's the problem.
We need to be concerned about everybody.
There we go. That's the problem.
There's
You can't be concerned about one community. And let's keep it clear. Let's keep it clear. The only people who's talking up on this are straight people. Because I haven't heard the LGBTQ community support them. I haven't heard, when I read these news articles, I haven't heard.
There's two sides.
I haven't heard like anybody step up to say, hey, no, we support them in this, and we need to. I haven't. Show me an article.
And then this is the thing. I say about putting in the hard work. This is also, I'm going to make another point because I know someone can come say, well, how about a boy who's been in the swim team and for years, so he's been putting in the hard work.
Yeah.
But he's 250th in the boys level, and then transgender. So he's been putting in the hard work because he's been competing. He goes and then he transgender. He competes in the women's and cleans up, and he's number one, which is actual true fact.
Yeah.
Right.
Leah something.
Yeah, something of that nature.
Leah, it just happened.
Understand this: when you play sports, it's muscle memory.
That's what it is.
It's repetitive. It's repetitive. It's repetitive. This is a boy who has male attributes, muscle memory. He is bringing his male muscle memory into the female sport. So, again, muscle mass, memory, it all coincide. He might be identifying as a female. He might be taking all the drugs to transition. His muscles don't see female. His muscles see man. But he was, and that's what he's gonna do. And that was that storyline where there was a swimmer who was a man, who was a boy, competed in the boys division. He was 250th. Started transitioning. Number one.
And God bless the souls that were standing next to him or her.
Joe, you ain't shit. Más fea que el carajo.
You know, they still kept their heads high and they still were happy about their second and third place. They didn't care.
Hi, Judy. Hi,
You know what I'm
Sexy
saying?
SG. Thank you for joining
They
us.
didn't care. They went in there to perform and they performed. And I think those are strong women. Those are strong women.
And-
they went in there and performed and they set some goals and they did it. And
And let me tell you this.
if it was a weak-minded second place girl right there, she would have been pissed.
So then there's also the supporters of the transgender are trying to compare this to, remember the whole bathroom thing? Gender neutral.
Yes.
So they're trying to echo the same sentiments in regards to, okay, you know, transgender, binary, however you want to identify. So it's bathrooms are non-identifiable. Boy, girl, no, everyone can use the bathroom. Fine. I really don't have a problem. A bathroom is a bathroom. I'm gonna pee and I'm gonna shit. Just like a female does, she pees and she shits. Just that women pee sitting down, men do it standing up. That is the only difference. There ain't nothing else.
Some men do it standing up.
So, I do it sitting down sometimes in the middle of the
There's
night.
some who don't at all.
So, but you can't compare that. That's apples to oranges.
Fact.
That's
But
apples
if you
to
know you
oranges.
can't compare,
Because that's an identifiable issue.
Right.
Because you want to be recognized. That's the thing about that. You want to be recognized.
I
and
get
all
it.
that.
I get it. But you gotta stop somewhere. You gotta
this has-
understand. And then and this is what I don't understand. Like you said, like they came out and they had an issue with it, so they want to be identified. Cool. But don't take that into sports because that's a whole different field.
No, absolutely, you can. It's because
You can't do the same thing. That's not.
as they say, testosterone is, as scientifically said, it is what increases your muscles. You're faster, you're taller, and that's why most men. Well, that's why most men are taller than most women. You know what I'm saying? It's rare that you have a Lisa Leslie who's 6'6". You know, again, she's a unicorn. But the average height of a WNBA player is what, 5'8"?
Yeah.
5'8",
5'8".
which is the average height of a man. Now, a WNBA player is the same height as a average man, non-athletic man. But when you put them against their counterparts, it's a different story.
different story.
Completely different story. You know, and it's a shame because that's what's getting lost in the translation. Because now it becomes politically charged, and then it becomes monetarily also infused.
Right.
Because you know, a league of their own, if there's enough,
love
someone
that
is going to create it.
I love that movie.
Someone's going to create a league of their own.
That movie
You know,
was
because it's feasibly financially because
Right.
they want to promote it, so forth and that.
if there's a way to gain money, I
Of
can see it
course.
happening. But,
Absolutely,
but
absolutely
I think, you know, there has to be a conscious effort in understanding that this is not right. It's not right, man. You can't put. And again, I have nothing against transgenders at all.
It's not right because let's make a couple of points.
Yeah,
It endangers you physically.
fact.
I mean, baseball. There are certain sports that women may excel a little bit more than others. We're going to take football, which is probably the most physical sport there is.
Right.
You can't have a woman playing running back or quarterback, and you got a 300-pound lineman coming at you at 4.5 speed and hitting you. Your reaction time, you just even your physical ability to withstand the impact on that is completely different.
You know, I watched a video the other day of rugby. Girls rugby, women's rugby. Her legs.
They're not playing with the boys, right?
No.
Exactly.
But her legs were like this. But I know she was running over these girls.
Mm-hmm.
But I know that if she would have played that with men,
Yeah.
she wouldn't be doing that.
That I think she might be able to compete for a little bit.
Yeah, probably.
Probably. She'd probably hold her own for a bit. But on a continuous basis, there's no way.
And rugby is no equipment, and you going in.
Imagine playing hockey and you getting
hockey.
checked. Because hockey players are now huge.
No.
Huge. They're fast, they're bigger, they're stronger. Imagine a female playing hockey. You know. Now, as Joe pointed out, tennis, non-contact sport. You know what I'm saying?
Go there.
And he showed it. 200, what was it, 150th ranked and
203 ranked.
and smoked both Williams sisters at the top of their game. It's just crazy. Now, if we're talking golf, Joe, if you're there, I don't know how I think golf is more of a skill set than a physically influence, because you have fat boys, like really you've had Daly was a drinker and was one of the top golfers, and he had the biggest beer belly there was, and he was one of the top
I don't know
golfers.
anything about golf, but do women play in the
They
same?
No, they don't.
What do you mean? Why?
They play their own. This again. They'll play the same. I don't know if they play the same courses, but they don't play together. Absolutely not.
Well, that was my question.
No,
Mia.
they have their own.
You gotta let me finish my question, Mia.
Okay, appreciate it. Fucker.
Do they play in the same field, or do they
The same
have
courses?
right the same courses?
I believe so. Joe, you tell me, because Joe plays golf.
Oh, Joe, that's right, Joe.
Right, Joe. So
do you know that?
Do females play the same courses? Let's take the Masters. So do men and I don't even know. I don't even
Is
think
there a women's Masters?
I don't know if there's
I've
a
never
women's
seen
Masters.
that.
So I don't know. But do they play the same courses, men and female? I mean, men and males and females. I don't know. So golf is a power game now. You're right, because now
What does that mean?
power game. So when you're hitting off the tee, the longer you can hit the ball, the closer you get to the tee,
Right.
to the cup.
Right.
So it becomes a power game, strength.
So does that mean that they
It's
have
off of-
shorter courses for
Yeah,
women?
I don't know, but I don't think they do, because golf course is a
Or
golf
maybe they
course.
just make the holes closer.
No, a golf course is a golf course. Once you make a golf course, that's it.
So
You can't. There's no
that's-
adjusting
yeah.
or anything like that. But you're right. It is a power game. Like Tiger Woods changed the whole dynamic about it, because he was known for his shots. But they played different tee boxes. Okay, so there are shorter. They modify it as well. The courses are the same. The tees, the boxes are different.
But
So it's modified.
let me ask you this then. We're talking about a non-contact sport.
And they still modify the courses.
They still modify it, but do you think there is a woman player, Joseph, you can answer this, Joe, that can compete in the men's?
I'm pretty sure.
They get a handicap.
Wow. They
And
get
this is a
handicap.
this is a non-contact sport.
That's crazy.
That tells
They
you a
get
lot.
handicap.
That tells you a lot.
So it's already known they're at a disadvantage. So they get a handicap because of that. And that's the only difference.
Same course, different tee boxes.
The only reason they get a handicap is because physically they can't hit those shots.
I don't see why this is
There's a difference. There's a biological difference.
and I don't understand why this isn't clear to those rule makers and those who have the power to allow.
Because they get pressured.
So all the sports are becoming
Yes.
political.
They've always been.
That's sucker shit.
But I'm gonna give you a.
You're gonna lose a lot of fans, and you're gonna create a lot of haters.
You're never gonna lose fans.
Yes, you are,
Sports is a freaking
bro.
money-making business.
So you telling me right now in the WNBA, these players at cap probably make $300,000 compared to men who are making millions.
Well, you gotta
So,
the
so now
average.
you get this man who didn't make it in the NBA but was great in college, and now he wants to transition. He's gonna go to the WNBA and rule. I'm not watching that shit.
No, I'm not.
A lot of people ain't gonna watch that, so you're gonna lose fans.
LeBron with a wig coming to the
It's-
NBA.
who
It's
wants
go-
to see that?
It's gonna be Space Jam.
Who wants to see that? I don't want to see
That's
that.
gonna be Space Jam. Absolutely.
That's ridiculous.
Look, he said Michelle Wie. Michelle Wie is one of the top female golfers.
Yeah. I remember
Tried to
her.
play men at the top of her game and got smoked. Lost her shit for a year.
Wow. But see, it goes
See?
back to what I said.
Now the mental aspect of her, like she got psychologically, she got mind fucked, right?
Yeah.
Thinking, not even that maybe.
Did she ever come back after that?
I think she's up for a year, but I don't know if she's playing.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that hurts a person's career, man.
So I thought about this, and I was trying to compare it to something that was tangible in regards to that. So this is
I like when you use these long words.
these
They're
big Sunday
You're
words.
sexy.
Yes. All right, yeah. So here's a perfect example. Steroids.
Okay.
Steroids, I'm going to go to the 80s. 70s, they were used. You knew
In the 70s?
in the 70s. It wasn't that steroids was big. I'm going to use the word the sport bodybuilding. Steroids. They weren't testing for drugs at that time in the
Right,
70s.
right.
That's my point. In the 80s, they weren't testing it. Late 80s is when they started realizing how steroids, and steroids, if people don't know, steroids boost your testosterone.
Right.
To levels, and then if you combine that with a strength and conditioning program, all of a sudden your muscle mass, your speed, your strength, all of a sudden becomes fucking magnified. So they weren't testing, it wasn't regulated, and then after a couple of deaths that were related to steroids or allegedly related to steroids, all of a sudden they started, okay, we need to address this issue because, and this, we're only talking about the male sports, men that were taking steroids to increase their testosterone levels, to increase their mass, their speed, their strength, were getting an unfair advantage over their male counterparts.
But we can't see that the other way around? though?
Yeah, so if steroids is an unfair advantage in male sports, and that's why it's a banned substance in football, in baseball, the whole Barry Bonds, Mark McGuire, Canseco thing, where they hit with the home
Alex
run derby of the
Rodriguez.
years, all the home run, all of a sudden the whole, whoa, what the hell was that? Oh, that was your phone call.
That was a
Good.
Dairy Queen grill. I got a free Dairy Queen coupon.
Oh shit, ice cream for everybody. So if in male sports, it is illegal. It is a banned substance in most major sports. It is also tested at the Olympic level. It is tested in the collegiate level now
Is
as
it?
well. Yes.
Holy moly.
It is a banned substance. If men cannot take it.
That's crazy.
Two, because it has been proven that it is an unfair advantage, how are you going to not say that testosterone, even naturally, or male to female transitioning that, a year, yeah, and that's going to be okay, that they're not at an advantage if you're doing it for the men? Absolutely. So that's what I was trying to compare something that,
That's a good point.
yeah, I was trying to find something in the male realm that is banned because they know that, okay, if you take that, you can't do it. And there's a lot of supplements that are banned, like NFL, Major League Baseball, the NBA, hockey. I mean, I'm going to take the four major sports. All have a list of banned substances that men cannot take because if it's scientifically proven, medically diagnosed, that if they take it with the combination of a strength and conditioning program that these 4 sports implement, and remember, they throw billions of dollars into these sports. Remember. Thank you, Mia. Remember. If you're listening, Mia, remember.
I got a point on what you're saying too.
Yeah. So, it's great that I can still hear you.
I know. Well,
Yeah,
I'm working.
that's awesome. While see, Super Mega Producer is doing a little adjustment here and there, but he's still involved and you can still hear him. So you got 4 major sports that have enacted a list of, I'm gonna call them ingredients that men cannot take because it gives them an unfair advantage in regards to their fellow male competitors in any sport. Olympics, and you get suspended, fined, banned, automatically, especially after numerous offenses. In baseball, what is it? It's like a 60-day or a 90-day penalty if you get caught with a supplement that's on that list. Come on.
Well, let me ask you this. I said earlier that the girl
Hi, South Linda.
was taken out of the Olympics because her testosterone was naturally higher than any other woman.
So with that point, I want
You
to...
know where I'm going with
Yeah,
this.
so with that point, if she has natural testosterone levels that are high, and mind you, it wasn't that she had them, they were exuberantly high. She just was over the benchmark of whatever benchmark that was set. I don't have a problem with her competing. It's natural. This is actually a key word in this whole concept. It is natural. She was born with it. It is not in addition to it. It wasn't a conscious choice that you make to inject yourself with a needle. It's not a conscious choice that you actually identify in a different way.
Yep.
It's not a choice that she made.
Okay.
God gave her this.
Okay, but you ain't bring it home. Let me bring it home
Bring
for
it
you.
home. Bring it
Okay,
home. Bring it
this
home,
was my
Papa.
point for this. If
I got a
we
pee-pee
can,
potty.
if we can identify that her testosterone was too much and it's natural, so we're gonna tell her she cannot
Alex,
compete.
woohoo, Alex, woohoo.
She cannot compete. Then why allow the transgender whose testosterone is allowed to compete? You see how you did that?
But no,
Let's reverse that. That's what I just did.
this
I
is the
reversed
thing.
that.
because transgenders and the ones that are competing, remember I just said about the benchmark. So
Yeah, but I get
no.
what you're saying, and now we're gonna give them a year and let it
right.
drop.
So no, they have to control their testosterone. They have to actually monitor their testosterone levels
Man.
to make sure when they get tested, they fall below. And let me tell you something. There isn't a transgender that is falling way below. They are just at the cusp. They're just right there. They're barely making it. And it takes such intricacy to figure out the balance to make sure that they don't go over. Because they know once they go over, they're done.
Let me tell you something. When I stopped playing basketball in college, I still could do everything that I was doing from college 3-4 years later.
And imagine if you got into a program to get yourself back into shape.
No. But my point is this. So if I can still do 3, 4, 5, 6 years later, the same thing I was doing in college, what is 1 year of only letting testosterone drop? Whatever happened to muscle mass, all that other stuff,
yeah.
they forgot that stuff is still in that person? Like, that's stupid.
But this is a choice. So you're telling me you have to watch your levels when you get tested.
Right.
So you're able to manipulate the system. You're able to control.
Not only that, now you got to spend money to make sure you're monitoring that.
Yeah, but that's not even an issue.
Oh, no, I get it.
Yeah, so
I get it.
It's a process that can be manipulated.
Yeah, that's a good point too.
That's the thing. Like it's
a point in itself.
You can regulate it. You can control it. You manipulate it however you see fit to work the system.
That's not cool, man.
To work the system. While you got people that have been working hard for years and naturally have built themselves up to compete at a high level, than to have someone who is actually, they're chemically changing things to just identify a certain way. And if you want to identify a certain way, by all means, it's a free country. I got love for everybody. But when you want to if I'm playing sport and you're coming in, I'm sorry. If I play football and I work hard and I'm busting my ass and my teammate takes steroids and takes my starting spot because of steroids and not because he put in the work, because he wasn't at practice, I'm gonna be fucking pissed. I'm gonna be fucking pissed because it gave him an unfair advantage. But because of that unfair advantage, he took my spot. He took my spotlight. All my years of working hard and waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning and running and all that.
All
and
by injecting something.
Just injecting something,
for
and he took
past
my
month.
spot. Oh hell no, no way. I'm gonna have a fucking
That's crazy.
a problem, a big problem. And that's just gonna fuck with my head. And that's, you know what that's gonna lead? You know what? If he can do it, I should do it also as well. Because I need a competitive edge. Remember, sports breeds competition. And with competition breeds, everybody's trying to get an edge.
Competition breeds cheaters too.
And exactly.
And that's what this is.
It's all about, you're trying to get an edge. Understand, sports, it always leads to money. Always leads to money because the top performers in any sport,
They get endorsements.
they get
they
endorsements,
deals. Yeah.
sponsorships. You're talking billions of dollars that get shelled out from all these companies and all these sports. The college game is a multi-billion-dollar industry on athletes that don't get paid.
Let me ask you this question.
That's a topic, another topic,
Yeah.
and on another day.
Let me ask you this question. We've been talking about the person who gets the bad hand of the deal whenever a transgender comes into their sport.
Comes into their sports and dominates.
Right. But I'm saying
That's essential.
What I'm saying is we're talking on the side of who we consider the victim, which is the person who's been playing the sport and things like that. Let me ask you a question. Let's look at the transgender's side. Do you think that they're doing this? And I'm only asking this because all of the stories that I've heard so far is that we're going from men to female now, all right, for now. The guys were competing and were way down in ranking list and then went to transition and now they're number one in the women's list. Mm-hmm. Do you think that they did that because they had that competitive edge so much that they wanted to be number one, or do you think they just...
Okay.
You see where I'm going?
Yes. I can. So what you're trying to say is, well, not that you said it, and I'm just going to elaborate on it. So basically,
paraphrase it, yes.
sports is very competitive, and when you're doing this, so let's take the swimmer, the male swimmer. He put in years of work, and I don't know what his work ethic was.
Right.
But say we're gonna imply that his work ethic was impeccable. He worked hard and he did everything. He was there at 5 a.m. in the morning at the pool and that. And the best he could do physically in his male category was 250.
Ranked.
So right.
Overall.
Right. So then your point was psychologically, he's thinking, damn, I've done all of this and all I can get is 250. That's as high as I can go. I've done everything possibly to get there. Now, this has to be a person that's so obsessed with their sport that they're involved in that being number one is their top priority, however they can achieve it. So in that instance,
Yes.
let's say this person then decides, you know what? I topped out at 250 as a male, but I think I can do much better as a female because I want to be number one.
Now, along with that, how much of transition do you have to be considered into the women's sport? So, for example,
Well, the NCAA says a year. When
no,
you
no,
start
no,
taking,
no. I'm talking about physical transitions. Like,
but that's the thing.
hear me out.
In sports, they're not designating any of that.
But hear me out. Nelson, you got long hair, right?
It's beautiful too.
Right. Okay.
Sexy.
Super dope. But let's say you don't like men. Let's say you don't really want to turn into a woman. But the only requirement is that you lower your testosterone to a female's. Can you play women's sports now?
Yeah, technically
That
you can.
fucking sucks. That's stupid.
That's technically.
And this is
Again,
where
as long as
they make it easy for that to happen.
Again, remember the box, male and female. The box isn't male and female anymore. I
So-
identify as a female.
So you're telling me that I don't have to go and get my breast done.
No,
I don't have to go get my genitalia removed.
Nope, absolutely not.
All I got to do is take a couple things to bring down my testosterone and say I want to compete in the women's and let my hair grow.
Yep. You don't even have to have your hair grow.
No, you
Absolutely
don't.
Nothing.
I'm just saying, like,
your physical attributes do
has
not
nothing
have
to
to
do
change.
with it.
Absolutely nothing.
Wow.
Physically, mind you, sports is all about physical.
So it's easy for a person, like we just said, to have that low self-esteem at 250 ranked overall, worked hard, 5 a.m. in the morning every day for his whole life, and can only get at 250.
Grow Pop, thank you for joining us.
Now says, I'm going to go compete in the women's and I'm going to be number one. Because they're
they're
so obsessed.
They're obsessed. Their objective is to be number one, regardless. They want to be number one swimming. That is their whole objective. And because the obstacle as a male was 250, and they was like, oh, you know what? That's cheating. If that's the mentality of this person, right?
But our mentality, which my point was to this, and matter of fact, let you finish your point because I was getting to a point to that, but it's Nelson is gonna drive it in, and I'm gonna cap it. Watch.
So this person now, all of a sudden, I want to be number one, jumps in, and I'm pretty sure that the transition goes, and again, it's 1 year. That's kind of the benchmark that they've set so far.
Right.
Once you start taking the inhibitors to decrease your testosterone, they say it's a year before you can compete. So they go in and they become number one. But I'm pretty sure again, he's bringing all this hard work that he did and moving it to a lower level. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It's a lower level. Same process, lower level. And because of his makeup already, his muscle memory, it's already ingrained. You don't lose muscle memory like this. It takes years of playing a sport to lose your muscle memory and your mass. You just don't lose it instantaneously.
Yeah.
It takes time. And the younger you are, the longer it takes.
Yeah, that's what I was saying when I said it took 5-6 years later. I still was dunking. I still was doing a lot of things that I was doing. So it goes to that point.
So they became number one, and all of a sudden, yeah, I'm number one. Yeah. I mean, in my head, is that really an achievement? Because you circumvented the system to work for you. That's all you did.
But a little bit more than that. This is where I was going with it. A little bit more than that. They should create another category.
Yeah,
Alex, I hate to say this.
It's a league of their own.
But you came a little late, and we covered that. I'm going to need you to go ahead and share this just for that. Thank you, Alex.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for
late,
coming in. We love you, Alex.
Better late than never.
Better late than never.
Got you.
All right? But my point is that now we have to look at that person and say, you know what? We need to get him some therapy.
Yeah, because their whole objective
You're
was number one.
obsessed.
You're obsessed for being number one.
Nobody's looking at that aspect of it, is what I'm saying. This is my whole point of reversing it and breaking that down and then coming to this point.
If a person decides just to identify,
I'm not saying that there's something wrong with the person. I'm just talking about that aspect.
Yeah, if you're
Right.
choosing, again, all these things are choices.
Correct.
If you choose to identify because you can't compete where you're at and you're choosing to now go somewhere else so you can be number one, you're circumventing, there's something psychologically wrong with you. It's the same thing where a professional athlete, they have all these minor leagues, right? And they have these minor leagues for a reason. The organizations look at you and they see if you can compete at the highest level. The moment you can't compete, what do? They drop you down. They drop you down. They look at you, assess you, and say, you are not ready. And they drop you down. And the whole thing with that, it becomes a choice. There's people judging you and looking at you, and they're like, okay, they have all these levels. It's levels. You can't compete at this highest level. You got to drop down to the next level.
Don't be sorry, Alex. We still love you.
Joanna, thank you for joining us. So, individuals that choose, and we're not saying that they are or they haven't been. Most likely, I'm pretty sure there's the unicorn out there that
Of course.
chose to, you know what? I can't compete at this level. I'm not good enough. Let me find somewhere where I can.
Now, we're talking about sports. You can do this in other categories and be successful, and because you got to make adjustments. We're not saying that because you made adjustments, you need to see a psychiatrist. That's not at all what we're talking about. We're talking about this specific thing.
Sports is a completely different animal altogether.
Like you could go to a rap battle and see a woman and a male go at it.
Oh, hell yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Like there are different things that you can see males and females go hard on, and it'll be an equal playing field.
Or however you want to identify, it doesn't matter. But sports specifically is they should be the label physical attributes.
Right.
Physical attributes. It is the biggest and major factor when you're talking about this topic and transitioning and transgender, how you identify. Again, the box used to be male and female. It is no longer that. It is how you identify. How you identify has nothing to do biologically whatsoever to do with what you do. So if you're, in your opinion, you identify as a female, they're allowing you to compete in female sports. And that's not the way it should be.
Right.
Female sports were, the category, and how Alex used category, the category female sports was created because women couldn't compete in the male category.
A league of their own.
So they created a league of their own. And there hasn't been a problem with it. I haven't heard of
Hi, Joanne. Hi, Angie.
I haven't seen or heard females complaining that, oh shit, we got categories for women in the same sport, but they have a category for women. I think every woman has been fucking happy that there is a category for, we have baseball, women have softball. Basketball, we have 2 leagues. Same thing. Again, I'm going to give softball. Softball field is modified. It is modified from the baseball field. It's modified extensively. You got a mound that's 61 inches?
I think it's 62 feet.
62 feet. The mound for a softball?
90.
No, it's 40. It's 43.
Yeah.
So you're talking a 20-foot difference. Down the lines, everything is modified. You're playing the same sport.
Well, let me tell you something that you brought that up. I watch college softball, bro. And at that little rate, they throw some heaters.
Yes. So
I'll be like, yo, how the hell do they see that?
You read my mind. So they did a study, and I know there are people that will say, oh, but if you compare and so forth. Okay, so I'm gonna tell you about a comparison. They compared because there's always comparisons, and then that's the problem. Like, why can't you just be happy doing the thing that you love?
Well, it's a study. It's not just
but
a
I'm saying
comparison.
everybody starts comparing because it's a competition. It's like, so they did this test study. What's harder to hit, a softball or a baseball? Because there's a consensus that hitting a baseball is probably one of the hardest things to do in sports.
Depends on who you are.
Yeah, not if we
'Cause
don't
for
have
me-
an all-star, So what they did was they took a baseball player, a pitcher, and he threw as hard as he could, and then they had a softball. So nowadays we have pitchers. Now we're having a bigger percentage of baseball pitchers that are in their high 90s, even to triple digits. Okay.
Back in
So
the days, the 90s, you were throwing in the low 90s, you were big
throwing
shit.
heat. So you were throwing heat.
Yeah.
I mean, even in the 80s, the best generation,
Cammy.
the best decade ever, Doc Gooden's and all that, he was throwing 90s. So they did the study, and this study wasn't done recently. It's been done a few years ago. So a 95 per hour fastball is the equivalent in softball to 61 miles an hour.
But that's because of the distance.
Because of the distance and then of the stride, women actually have that stride.
that little stride.
No, not even a stride. It's a stride and a leap.
Right.
So when a softball pitcher, goes into their motion, they leap, and then the stride. So they're that. If you see that circle, the best pitchers, their front foot goes
All the way.
in the front, outside the circle. Those are the best ones. Now, tell me how many pitchers throw 60 miles an hour in softball.
Not many.
I think maybe I can count them on my hand and have a finger left over. So there are not many that throw. On the average, you will get the 60s, but on the average is in the 50s. Now, 95 per hour fastball, almost every pitcher
every
in the
pitcher
major
does
league
that, yeah.
has it.
Yeah.
So there's a big difference in regard right there. That study, even though they're saying, yeah, you might it might be harder to hit a softball at that range, but how many actual females can throw it, and then that's at a consistent level. I'm not talking about just a couple. There's pitchers that throw 95 miles an hour and they're in the 8th and 9th inning, and they're still throwing gas. At some point, females they might start like that in the 1st and 2nd inning, and then it's again softball is 7, it's not 9. It's because physically, I think it would be too much. Whoever decided, because I would like to know who decided that. Okay, instead of playing 9 innings, we were playing 7. Who decided, okay, basketball, you got to need a smaller, but because the ball is smaller, this is the funny part, right? Baseball, smaller ball than a softball. Men's hands are bigger than a woman. Why isn't it the other way around?
Because men like playing with little balls.
Hi, Mary.
I was gonna say it the other way around, but I didn't
Right.
want. We got too many women
But
on here.
understand that, like a man, you would think that a man, bigger hands, can handle. Because I could take a softball, I could fling it. Because I pitch, I could throw underhand much better than I can throw overhand. And that's because just of the years of throwing, and my shoulder's already screwed up because
Well,
of football.
I've always had, as a pitcher, I've always had a disadvantage with that, because there are certain pitches that you throw where you need full grip on the ball, and because my hands are so big, I couldn't give it a full grip. So I used to have to learn how to.
It would get like lost in your hands.
No, I would. So, for example, I'm gonna say the basic curveball. Some people would take a curveball and cup the ball fully in their hand,
Right.
whereas I can't.
It's the seat.
I have to hold it like this.
Because your hands are so big,
My
you
hand
would
is
go
so
around.
big.
It would do a different
Yeah.
spin.
So now my control is a lot different
Yeah.
than when a person is cupping it the way like the little hand person would do.
Yeah, but if you take a softball in your hand, you can manipulate it however you
Dude,
want.
I throw
because-
rockets with softballs
but-
because I get comfortable. My hand is big and it's much easier control for me.
It's the only, but that's the funny thing. But again, you take football. The football is smaller for females than males.
Yeah.
Basketball, the ball is smaller.
Yeah.
What other things? It's just everything is modified for women for the simple fact that women have smaller hands than
Yeah,
men.
yeah.
And that's because it'd be unfair.
But softball, it's bigger than.
Yeah, but softball is bigger than, and we have, and the girls have small hands. The killers are here. The killers are here. I don't know what's going on downstairs. The killers are here.
Poppy must have walked in.
Oh, okay. They don't like him. They don't like him at all. But that's funny because I just thought about it now. It's just so weird. Try and throw a softball hard continuously and you'll blow out your arm. No, actually, that's not true,
Nah.
Joe. That's not true.
I think it's the other way around.
And
Well, for me anyway.
I can't with Lorraine right now. I really can't.
What she said?
I can't. Lorraine said, I prefer my balls big. Okay,
Wow,
all right.
I didn't even see that. You slipped that one in.
Yeah,
Pause.
all right, Lorraine. I got you, Lo. Got you. But my hands are way bigger than the men. Yeah, because you're a unicorn. You're a unicorn, Lo.
Yeah.
You're a little, but that's
In
really
so many ways, sis. In so many ways.
Joe. Unfortunately, that's actually incorrect because
Yeah.
when it comes to softball, girls softball pitchers can pitch on Friday, can pitch on Saturday,
Thank
can
you,
pitch on
Angie.
Sunday. And
I'll let her know.
they can throw 100, 150 pitches and pitch the next day. Baseball players can't do that.
Yeah, but you got to get conditioned to it. As a baseball pitcher, I can throw baseballs all day. When I moved here and I played softball, I blew my arm out for a whole season.
Yeah, but baseball pitchers cannot throw at the velocity that they throw and the mechanics. Remember, this is actually a
No, but I
motion.
mean regularly, because I also played third and shortstop.
Right, but that's fine. But as a pitcher, we're talking just the pitching position.
Right.
The pitching position in softball, they're workhorses. Softball pitchers are workhorses.
Yeah, yeah.
I've had my pitchers pitch back to back. They'll pitch double headers.
Yeah, yeah.
The same day.
I've seen that.
Pitchers can't do that. That's actually standard for softball.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
standard. Baseball pitchers can't do that. Absolutely. Remember, this is a natural motion.
Yeah, yeah.
This is an unnatural motion.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's why we tear our rotator cuffs
how mine
and our
is now.
shoulders and
Yeah.
all that. It is an unnatural motion. Underhand is a natural, because when we walk, how do we walk?
Yeah.
Like this. We don't walk like we're swimming.
I don't walk like that. I walk like a pimp.
So
This is the part when we make a meme and the glasses come on.
Yeah. So it's just a matter of that. I don't know, Lo. You and your big hands.
Yo, we just went straight off a topic. Okay,
Lo.
but
She just
it's cool.
She just threw a monkey
I think,
wrench in there.
I think we proved our point today.
That's not
with
even.
that.
It's not even a point.
It's
It's
not.
just
It's
a
just a
perspective.
discussion and a perspective.
It's a
I think we brought many perspectives
Yes.
on that topic that I think we haven't heard of in the news at all. Like, we're so into just shaming the fact
Yes,
that
underhand is natural. Exactly.
yeah, it
Exactly
is.
The point.
We're so, we're watching the news drive the fact that, transgender men, who are transitioning into women.
Just the transgender community itself, because it's a target.
Yeah.
It's.
But we also have to look at that person too, like individually, and see, like, you know what I'm saying? And also look at those rules in the sports and be like, listen, it's still an unfair advantage. Like, you have to look at those things. They forgot muscle memory. They forgot that the men, even though you bring that, you can take as much inhibitors as you want. You're still going to be more advanced than a woman physically.
But then, and also with that, when again you're choosing, you're able to manipulate it. You have to.
Yeah, and that's another aspect.
You're leaving it to a human being
Yeah.
to control and make sure there's a balance. And what is it to say that, okay, you balance, you test, okay, you're under the... this is the thing.
It's all right, Lorraine. We love you. A lot of people joining in late today, and that's
right.
perfectly
But that's
fine.
why you could always catch it on YouTube,
Yes.
Instagram,
Yes.
and Facebook.
And you can share it now.
And you can share it
we
now. You'll be
appreciate
good.
it. Thanks.
So this is the thing. You have that benchmark. You know you're getting tested, right? So you got to get a balance. So I'm pretty sure it's so intricate. It's got to be so precise.
Yeah.
In doing that, to making sure that you don't go over that level. So you get tested, you pass, and okay, fuck it, I'm not doing it. Just like NFL players, they kind of sometimes not even NFL players, but sometimes they know when they're gonna get tested, and there's things for them to hide or mask.
Yeah, yeah.
Or make sure that they don't test. They don't test positive for anything, or they fall below. And then after that, it's free and clear.
There's just too many variables.
Okay, I'm gonna give you a perfect example: UFC and boxing, right?
Oh, we didn't even touch that one.
There is. I'm not in UFC and boxing. They test for steroids too. So every physically major sport, they test for these drugs that give you unfair advantages. But there's a weight class in boxing and in the UFC. Because I know some men can't physically fucks with me. Yeah, I wouldn't fucks with you either. You a savage. So there's a weight class in UFC and boxing. That weight class is to make it fair.
Right.
Allegedly to make it fair. So a lot of these athletes in these sports, it's called cutting weight. So there's so many extreme ways that they cut weight because naturally, as human beings, we hold a certain weight. And
I hold a lot of weight.
yeah, you hold a lot of weight. Aquí, right here, right here. I heard you heard a lot of weight somewhere below too, like right here.
Wow,
right
wow,
here.
wow. Thanks for specifying that.
So, so they have to cut weight. So say they are at 150 pounds, but they carry naturally 165. So they have to cut 15 pounds before their bout.
Before the weigh-in.
Yeah, before the weigh-in. So they got to cut weight to make that 150. If they don't make that weight, there's a penalty, there's a fine, whatever the case may be. So say they make the weight 150, right? And their match, and mind you, the time difference between their actual fight and when they cut weight, the weigh-in, varies depending on the sport, depending on the event. It could be 2 or 3 days, it could be a week. So it doesn't even it doesn't matter. So, but for the most part, this is what happens in those sports. They cut weight, they make weight. The next day, they've gained back 5 to 10 of their natural weight. Naturally. Just by eating a meal. So then when it's fight time, both men weighed in at 150 pounds. But one guy carries a natural weight of 165 and the other one is 155. That's a 10-pound difference.
Yeah.
10 pounds makes a big difference in boxing.
I wish they would have
and
told me
in
that when
UFC.
I was fighting all these guys when I was younger, because they were all bigger than me.
But you were fighting in the streets, bro. It wasn't organized.
It's still a lot.
There are no rules in
Bigger-
street fighting.
But I mean,
no rules. You got
somebody should have told me that made a big difference, though. I wouldn't have
Of
been
course
picking
it
on
does.
these dudes.
They gain it back, and they gain it back like this, because biologically and naturally, what God has given you, and how the human body works, that's exactly what happens.
Yeah.
Exactly what happens. So these athletes that are transitioning and they qualify because they stay under their levels, and then they know they're not getting tested again. If they don't take any of those medications, guess what happens? Biologically, physically, how you're humanly built, how you are born, your testosterone levels are going to go up.
Yeah.
Because when you're transgendering, if I'm not correct, if I'm not mistaken, you have to be on them pretty much your whole entire life.
Yeah, yeah.
Because if you get off them, if you slip, your body clicks and goes into, well, you were born a boy, so you get testosterone. Boom, and they hit it. Not
Yeah.
until you hit in your 40s, like men start losing their testosterone levels at 40. It's not like they dropped.
It's not like they drop, yeah.
Yeah, it's like we start losing them little by little, but we still produce testosterone until the day we die. You know, so it's the biological fact.
I think these organizations really need to take a look at their rules and start understanding some of the things that we talked about today, because
I don't even
this is going to become.
I don't even think it's about even the rules. I think it's more about the perspective.
Well,
and
that
I think,
too,
And
that
I think
too.
I think it's the information that's
But
out there.
I'm talking about the rules my point with that is because it should not be happening, because you're affecting the sport, you're affecting
the
other
purity of the sport.
Well, that's what I mean. You're just affecting the sport in a lot of ways, but you're also affecting the people who are competing. And I'm not saying that they should be looked at as victims. I'm just saying that they worked hard to get to that point, and you're taking it away.
Yes.
And now a lot of things can happen from that. And I'm talking about bad things. We've seen people who've been bullied take it to shooting up schools. God forbid this person lost to a transgender who probably didn't put in that work. It doesn't even matter the story. Just the fact that the person's a transgender coming into a women's sport, and now this woman is pissed off. A lot of things can happen there.
Listen,
They have to look at the rules. It starts
there's-
with the rules.
there's the
They
emotion.
need to look at that and start cutting down on this
It's
stuff.
it's the emotional and psychological
Yeah.
effect that happens.
That's what I'm
But
saying.
Listen, it's not even the rules. Let's take a boy and a girl, 16 years old. They haven't put any work in. Let's continue with swimming, right? And that male decides to transition into a female. Didn't put any work. The female didn't put in any work. Guess who's gonna win in a match?
Lorraine said, bust their kneecaps. You see? Lorraine would be one that would be in that thing, and it would be a problem later.
Mo says some men never had testosterone down. That
Wow.
sounds personal, but okay.
Wow.
But if you take two individuals, you take a female and a male, and put them in a sport, any sport, and you take that male and have him transition into a female, that transgender male or female, however you want to phrase it, because I'm so confused at this point. I just can't. I'm like, hi, how you doing? What's your name? And I'll call you by your name. Like that's the way I got to do it. 10 out of 10 times, you have them compete in some type of athletic event, they're going to win every single time
Yeah, yeah.
without any work, without going through the process. So that alone can tell you, I think the information and the education on the subject needs to be more concise, more clear. I think it has to be.
I think it needs to happen.
They need to delve right into it and really get this information and have it accessible and educate everyone in it. Because what happens, there's a division right here. I understand that there are individuals that identify in a certain way because they feel a certain way, or however their process is. I can't speak on it because I don't know what that is, and I respect that. But when you're talking about sports and getting into athletics, it's a big thing. It makes a major difference. It is a major component that needs to be addressed. The information needs to be there. And again, how much stuff we were researching for every pro, there's a con.
Yeah.
In any subject, but here, if there's a study, testosterone, blah blah blah, doesn't do this, and then there's another study, testosterone does give you a fair advantage. If you look at history, and that was the perfect example that I gave, I wanted something to compare. If men can't take steroids, which increases testosterone, to compete in sports, what does that tell you about what testosterone does to the body? What does that tell you?
Yeah.
I don't care how much you inhibit freaking testosterone. If you naturally produce it, it's going to happen. You're going to have an advantage. I don't care how much you inhibit your testosterone. It's not going to equate to the level of testosterone of a natural born female.
Yes.
Never.
And Lorraine,
Lorraine, you're
I
violent.
have-
You're violent, Lorraine. You need therapy. I'm just letting you know.
I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with if somebody wants to be called identify with a pronoun.
I'm going to ask what
But
their name
I'm
is.
gonna ask what their name is.
I'm gonna ask what
I'm
their
gonna
name
sit
is.
there and ask you if you want to be called they,
Because
we,
I can-
she,
I
he.
can care-
Listen, your name is enough.
I can care less how you identify. I'm gonna have love for you wherever. What's your name? Your name is Lorraine.
That's what
nice
you're
to
gonna
meet
get
you,
called.
Lorraine. Nice to meet you. How you live your life, how you identify is irrelevant to me. If you're happy and it makes you happy, God bless you. That's it. But yeah, I'm just confused. I'm sorry. That's why how you doing? What's your name? My name is Nelson. What's your name? That's it.
Nah.
Simple.
Let's get
Simple.
to the point.
But when it comes to sports, it is what it is, man. And this is what it is. This is what it is. They're not understanding how sports process.
Look at Lorraine's comment. She says she thinks that they can compete fairly and gender specific, but it would have to be specific with weight and height and age. And we spoke about this earlier, Lorraine, and I know you said you were late, but listen, Nelson just brought that up. If they're both 16 years old, never practiced, never played, but the male wants to transition into a female, 10 times out of 10, that male with the same weight, with the same height and age is still going to win because his body is built different.
He will, yeah, but look, swimming, you can't do it because swimming doesn't go by what height and weight.
Right.
And it can never be. Because now, if you're doing it by specific weight and height, now you're being really an age. Now you're excluding a lot of people in general.
Right.
By doing that. Okay, swimmers that are 5'11", 180, and are 15. How many swimmers you're going to have 5'11", 180, and 15 years old? You're not. There's no way of actually condensing it so uber specific when it comes to sports. Sports is sports. It's a skill set. It's something that is learned. The talent that you have is I disagree.
Well, that's
fine.
fine. Yeah,
it is
that's
completely
good.
fine. But when it comes to sports, Lorraine, did you ever play sports before besides beating up boys? I'm just saying. But kids at playground prove that.
We're talking about
that's playground. We're talking about competitive sports.
Right. At a professional level, things like that. Because that's where people are transitioning from.
Yes, it's not at the playground. It's not school rec. It's not just 3-on-3. Let's play a pickup game of basketball or anything like that. Competitive sports is where the genre is,
and that's where
the controversy
is at right now. And current news, with the swimmer Leah, I can't remember the last name, who transitioned from a male to a female and was, first of all, was ranked like 400 something, I can't remember, in male sports and male swimming, went into women's and cleared the whole thing out as number one.
No, says too machismo. We're actually not even giving you anything about machismo. We're actually giving you facts.
Facts,
That's just all facts that we're giving you. The one thing that we did speak on, but I know you came in late, is that I think for females, before they speak on competitive sports, I think they need to actually have played it or have some type of interaction or understanding of the sport.
I said 10 out of 10 because I was repeating what Nelson said.
Yes, absolutely. I think
that's why I said you probably missed what Nelson just said.
10 out of 10 because his male biological body is stronger, faster than a counterpart at that same age. Just not actually doing any athletic, just taking two of them out of it and just putting them in there. That's only 1.75 of a second. What?
What does that mean?
I don't know. I disagree. That's what I said. That's not a huge margin. In what?
In what? Yeah.
It all depends.
Lost me with that.
Yeah, it all depends. 1.75 is a lot of time. 1.75 is enough time to take a last second shot in basketball. 1.75 seconds in a race is a lot.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. So it all again, competitive sports, you got to give it into context. You can't arbitrarily say anything. You're still on. Woohoo. So I say we're about to be off because you just came on. Just facts.
Well, Angie just asked the question now.
Okay.
When it comes to sports, do you guys think that a gender-free competition is possible at this point in time?
Listen, sports comes with competition, but we're talking about, when we're saying competitive sports, organized competitive sports where there is a governing body. We're talking NCAA. We're talking about professionals. Anything of that nature. So when we're talking sports, that gender-free competition, you can.
It happens as kids.
Yeah,
so
that's a playground.
Yeah,
that's playing pickup ball. That's
like I said earlier. My daughter played basketball until 8th grade with the boys.
Yeah, listen, you have co-ed
and
leagues.
Competitive sports.
You have co-ed leagues. You have co-ed.
Yeah, that's right.
I've been in co-ed leagues.
Softball co-ed.
I've been in co-ed leagues. Dodgeball, softball, basketball. Guess who excels more in the co-ed leagues? For the predominantly, again, I said there are unicorns. There are unicorns in every sport. Predominantly in co-ed leagues, who are the best players? Men. in every sport. And I've played in co-ed leagues. I've played sports all my life. In every aspect, the male counterpart, I don't care if it's gender-friendly, free competition, the male is better than the female. That you have those exceptions, absolutely. So your daughter busted tail with boys. Yeah.
Until
I'm
what
pretty sure.
grade? Until what grade, Sasha?
I'm pretty sure, but she can't play. She can't play college. She won't be able to get on a college team, on a boys team. You know, it also depends on the level of competition.
Yeah,
There's girls that they'll bust high school teams, but if the high school team is trash,
Yeah.
but if you're
That's
playing,
why we got to stay at the professional level.
not even
At the competitive. With, like you said, where there's a governing, hierarchy there,
Yeah,
making sure that everything is
absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
When you're talking
we have to put it on that type of field because it has some control and it has some.
The females that have been on competitive teams, on organized teams at the high school and college level, have been Division III.
Right.
They've been at the bottom echelon of the hierarchy.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't no one playing Division I basketball.
Well, we're not taking away that she was a monster or a beast, Sasha.
Yeah, that wasn't about that.
Yeah. By no means. This is why there was a disclaimer earlier that I stated, and I should have said this is a disclaimer. We're not talking about.
But if your daughter,
women jumping into male sports,
Sasha,
and that's not what we're talking about.
But I'm telling you, if your daughter she played ball through high school. Yes, she played, but did she play on the girls team or on the boys team? Because you playing if a girl beating a guy one-on-one, that's all great and dandy. But when you play on a team, which means there's 5 players, there's a concept.
Different game.
There's a process. And now you're playing 25 games. You might be playing back-to-backs. You might be playing tournaments. Then tell me how her game gets affected.
In high school, Nina plays 4 8-minute quarters, whereas the boys would play 12-minute quarters.
Right. Every game. This is the thing. Every game, every competitive major sport game is modified for girls, and they could be beasts playing with other girls. Now all of a sudden you're taking that 8-minute that they were playing. Now you're extending it to 12. Now you're extending 4, 8, 12, 16 minutes. Now
that's a whole nother quarter. They're already tired at
That's
4th.
another whole nother quarter. Now you're also dealing with the physicality. Now you're dealing with bigger boys. Now you're not getting that physicality in 8 minutes. You're getting that physicality every 12 minutes now.
Right.
You know. I ended it, but not.
That's
Sasha,
not it. That's not what's
she
in question,
played nationally.
Sasha.
Where did she play? With boys or with girls? There's no AAU where she played the boys and girls. I'm not understanding that. She played with girls, but AAU she played with boys and girls. Yes, I understand that. But AAU are just tournaments. It is not a season. It is not a benchmark to playing in an organized competitive ball. Your daughter can't play Division I with the boys at the college level. It's not going to happen. There's no way. You see the freaking college, the March Madness. You see these kids.
All right, but
She played with boys. I understand. We're not saying that girls can't play with boys.
That's not what we're saying.
That women cannot be in a competitive, organized environment. Can they play well maybe for a couple of games? Absolutely.
Yes.
Yes, they can. But when you're coming to, can she play in a March Madness competition with the boys? No.
Can she play 162 games in the NBA?
No, they don't even play. They don't play it. Men's season is 81. Female, I think, is 61. It's different.
It's different.
Different quarters, different. It's not.
There's a reason why it's like that.
You
It's
won't
not,
be able-
We're not saying it because y'all think we're sexist or much.
No, but
there's facts to what we're saying.
Sasha's seeing it from a mom's side of it.
Yeah, which is I was getting to that too.
She's seeing it from a side. It's her daughter.
Yeah.
But
that's not what's in question.
That's not what in question. That she could probably compete with some boys. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I've seen your daughter play. Yeah. She's got game. But when we're talking about, well, if you're gonna take her and put her on a college team of boys, that's different.
Your daughter must have seen the SMP tutorials on basketball. Because if she was that good, I guarantee you she saw some of my highlights.
Oh yeah, she saw before you were even SMP.
Yeah, way before I was SMP.
Yeah, he was something else. Yeah, so yeah, it's context, and see, this is exactly her perspective. It's tunnel vision, because it's okay. It's my daughter. I see her play with boys, but if you take her and take her skill set, you can call all you want. But we're not calling. You're not calling tonight. It's too late. So, but if you take her and you put her on a Division 1, 2, or 3 boys basketball collegiate team,
Right.
and have her go through the rigors and the process, completely different. Completely different. I'm glad you can laugh, Sasha. I'm glad we can laugh. But that was the whole thing, and I think more information, more education, and more information has to be put out there.
That's what anything do.
But this is going to be big, because I want to see where this goes.
And it's going to continue
It's
to go.
going to continue. It's going to get bigger. There's it's in the court system. There's lawsuits. There's class action lawsuits with parents on both sides.
Yeah.
On both sides. There's the transgender community that are fighting for their rights to play certain sports, and there's parents and athletes who
I just
are on that.
really hope that it doesn't get ugly, because this can get really
But
ugly, man.
and it's sad because it's a division, but we have to take it from the part of the sports. We have to look at it from the angle of the sport itself, and it's how it changes, how it involves the physical aspect of a human being. Human being, okay? So, Sasha, please, I can't stop with you. I can't start with you, man. I can't. That's it. I'm done. We're done today. We're
Yeah.
good. Thank you everyone for coming out. Thank you for joining us. You women, go play a sport. I'm coaching football.
Wow.
Listen, I'm coaching football. It's funny because I'm coaching football.
Don't make Lorraine take your knees out, bro.
Yeah, she'll take me out. It's funny. I have parents who'll be like, "No, I'm playing with my son," and I got girls. There's girls. This is co-ed. The football league. There's girls, and there's girls that are competing. And I tell them, I said, you can smoke some of these boys with no problem whatsoever. But once if I start training them, these boys eventually are going to supersede these girls.
Oh, yeah.
They just are. I see it. I know it firsthand. Plain and simple. So, it is what it is. But thank you for joining us.
You got late callers. Sorry, y'all. You can't call right now.
No, you can't call. I got to do pee-pee potty, but we love y'all. I thank you.
Nelson's doing the pee-pee dance right
Yeah,
now.
I'm doing a pee-pee dance, but I really liked this topic, and it was very interesting. It's true to my heart because as a coach, I speak from experience. I'm not speaking because I did some research, but I'm also speaking from experience.
From experience, yeah.
From coaching both sides, and I still do it. So see how Sasha's so mean? Look, now they're ganging up on me. Listen, thank you, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Thank you.
Thank
We
you,
love
guys.
you.
Thank
I
you
need
for
to
joining.
leave because they're about to hurt me. There's always I need to have to go to court.
Don't we tell you all the time to love, laugh, and live?
What the hell's wrong with y'all? Anyway, till next week, I thank you very much for joining us on the Spirited Conversation.
Thank you, guys. We love y'all.
We have a schedule to attend. We got some shows to watch and all this other stuff, but we love you. Till next week, we'll see you. Peace. IG, we love you.